I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yep, that's right, Lacey. 2 days and 2 times today.
I believe Lacey. I believe Lacey asked last night when we were going to be live again. Here we are.
This is for you, Lacey. Yeah, enjoy it. You can go to bed with us, wake up with us, whatever. Anyways, hey guys,
join the club with us.
Yeah. Yeah, we did one earlier today, obviously, because we released the information from Miami County courts there. And oh, hi Van Life, how are you? Thank you. So yeah, so we released the Kegan Kline stuff earlier today in the live because again, you know, Adam had received the information earlier this morning and whatever. So again, we kind of went over it. We'll go over it again tonight. If perhaps maybe CD or Alexa will pop on at some point. We will see what's going on. Anyways, you guys, I know, again, it's an impromptu and most people didn't probably get a notification because of the fact that I've already put out a couple videos today. And actually, those you can only do 3 in 24 hours. Other than that, you just have to come across us if we're doing a live. Yeah. All right, so let's just give a few hellos while we're doing this. Lacey. Yeah, there's it's a crowning shame. Streamlabs is in the house. Jess, how are you? Lisa Marie Pritchard. Van Life Adventures and Open Mind Perspective. How are you? Kathy Chapin. Bible Critters in the house. Forever Young. I wish that was true. Forever Young. Wish that was true. Anyways, and again, for anyone that doesn't know, again, congratulations to Adam for getting his channel monetized today. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, yeah.
only took me 2 tries.
Oh, right. Thank you so much. Hope everything's going good over there, Van Life. Janet, how are you? Marietta. So, you know, obviously today, you know, we're going to talk about Scotty Morris. We're going to talk about Stephen Smith, and we're going to talk about the Kegan Kline, obviously with the whole change of plea that's going to be on March 30th, even though they must have typoed in the other one that came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me personally, Van Life, this is personally like I said, the way I work. I don't put up with trolls. I only want to deal with the people that are positive energies, like you were saying the other day in your live. And so I refuse to allow trolls to enter here. And when they do, I literally just block them right away. And that's just because we're not here to, you know, just like I said, we each run our channels our own way. And that's the bottom line. And if I want negativity, heck, I'll just go, you know, visit my family or something like that. If I want that, you know, seriously. Right. So in here, we just like to keep it about caring people that really want to talk about the cases, you know, and that want to move forward and interact with them. We don't need people that come in to try to troll, be mean and ignorant and all those things. Those ones can just go away. My block list has about 1,000 people on it. And I do not care, because it's about the quality of people, not the quantity. And again, so that's the bottom line.
I was thinking about that earlier, and I was like, sometimes, I'm like, I know we neither of us really watch a ton of other people's lives or whatever, but occasionally, I'll come across one that will pique my interest. And then there are a few people I do watch. But, occasionally I'll come across one just randomly, and I'm like, you read the chat sometimes and you're like, oh, those aren't the people that come in our chat. Like,
yeah.
And it makes me so grateful, because I'm like, I'm like, some of it, I'm like, oh, my brain hurts.
Yeah.
It's
really, it's not even really worth entertaining. I mean, sometimes I'll have fun at my own expense of laughing at them, because it doesn't even affect me personally. Right. But the thing is that we're not here to waste our time with those people. Those people can go, go back to the manure pile that they belong in. So,
even some channels, it's like you hear like what they're talking about, and you're like, that's not true. That's wrong. That's wrong. Like. So I'm like, I don't have time for any of that.
Exactly. We're just here to do our thing, and that's it. And anyone else can do their own thing. There's always going to be people that bash channels and this channel and that and stuff like that. Whatever.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah, bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts.
I still don't know how to block the bad ones. I do the live on my phone, so I don't really. Adam, on your phone, because I don't use my phone and I use my computer, my desktop. So how would you block someone on the phone?
You can do it through StreamYard. I don't know if you use StreamYard, but like if we're looking at the screen right now, like I'm on my iPad, and if I'm looking at the screen, I've got Sonny and I are on a portion of the screen, and then to the right of that is the chat, which if I click the three dots on anyone's chat, it gives me the option to either star the comment, put the user in timeout, or block the user.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa, good to see you.
See, the thing is on your phone too. On your phone, if you go to the actual YouTube Studio dashboard,
right.
And then you can. So if you have, I don't know if you only just use your phone or if you use it in conjunction with like an iPad or something like that. Van Life, do you just use the phone and that's it? Or do you use it in conjunction with an iPad?
Well, the interface on the iPad and the phone are going to be the same, because it's iOS. It's like when you have a computer or a laptop, that's going to be different. So, I mean, I can do it either on my phone or my laptop, but it can be difficult to like have to toggle back and forth between the live and then like YouTube Studio, because then you can't see what's happening in the live.
Well, I was going to say, at the end of the day, if you get YouTube Studio open, right, which basically puts you in, or you can still see yourself on camera. You can actually just simply go through YouTube Studio, and all you have to do literally is in the chat scrolling in YouTube Studio. All you have to do is hit the little three buttons and go block, hide user, block. That's it. And if they're leaving posts on your videos, same thing. Just block them. Just hit block, hide user, block.
There are certain things on YouTube Studio that you can do on like on the web, on like a computer, that you don't have access to on the iPad or the phone app. But I found that if you go to studio.youtube.com or whatever it is, on even your like phone or your iPad browser, you can access like the web version of it. So you can, granted you can't see anything because you have to zoom in.
Yeah. So hi guys. So with YouTube Studio on your iPad, right? You just type in Studio YouTube and you go to the dashboard. Okay. And once you're at the dashboard, it's no different than being on a computer. And there you just simply go to your live, your content, go to your live. And then that puts you, and you can pause, of course, pause that so it's not making any sound, but you can still see the chat. And all you have to do is block, there you go. Hide user, block, get out of here. That's, and besides giving yourself a mod, and if you ever haven't given yourself a mod, because I don't think I've seen any mod in there, but if you haven't given yourself a mod, you should give yourself a couple mods, and you do that the same way. You go into YouTube Studio and you just literally add as a moderator, people that can help control when you do lives to get rid of those ones or time them out, but you yourself can just block. Yeah. I hope that made sense to you. Hello, support with Steffa. Lovely, lovely. Hello, Lizette. How are you? Hi, CJK. How are you? Yeah, Lisa. I mean, I try to block you at least once a week, Lisa. It doesn't always work, to be honest with you. Nah, just kidding. Oh, see, Lisa loves Adam more than she does Sunny. Did you know that?
I would assume.
Yeah. Okay. So, after we did the live earlier, actually, when I was at the dentist, that's when the other one came in from Amanda from the Miami.
Sorry.
Don't hold on. Wait,
Nope.
go, Granny,
Yeah,
go.
nope, we're good.
Hey, Jizwiz, how are you? Jizwiz. Jizwiz never shows up when we need Jizwiz to show up properly. Lisa loves.
I just want Come Honor and Jizwiz to be here at the same time.
Oh yeah, that other name. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Lizette is my fan. Okay, besides Callie. Lizette is and Miss Dog Lover. There's a couple of them that always are very supportive. Support with Steffa. I don't know. Support with Steffa's kind of like 50-50. I think she's wishy-washy. One minute she loves me more than you more. I don't know.
Lizette.
Yeah. At the end of the day, for me, Google, YouTube is my Bible for anything. Anytime I want to learn something, how to do something, that's me. I'm just going to YouTube. How do you block people? How do you add a moderator? How do you do this? Because there's still a lot that I could, I'm sure, learn for sure. But I do like that comment. Sunny is a genius and funny too. It's a nice balance, isn't it, Lizette? Quite a nice balance, yeah. Okay, you kick me out, but I always come back. I know, right? It's kind of like Brian Koberger there, right? You ziplock the trash and you take it out, but it always seems to come back somehow. Yeah. I love you, girl. Aspen, I'll take the cheeseburger topped with 24 karat gold. Okay, so Lisa fries with that. Okay, so so earlier today, let's see here. We had the 3 documents, and then this is the one that came in later. This document here, and this is the one that they must have had a typo there, you guys. But this is the one that's simply saying that the pretrial hearing that heretofore, I hate that word, it sucks, heretofore has been scheduled to take place. Like, that sounds like old English. Correct me if I'm wrong, but heretofore does not sound like a word that we should be using. It just seems weird. Heretofore. Somebody, I think it's their 1 month fibro. Now I'm back to 1 month. Yay. There you go, fibro. But yeah, what's like this heretofore stuff? Anyways, has been scheduled to take place Thursday, March 30th, on the 2023 at 10 a.m. Hereby is converted to a change of plea hearing. But up top, they had put basically the conference and jury trial and schedule for a change of plea hearing on March 20th. So yeah,
which is today, but
which is today. It's not going to happen today. Yeah. Well, I'm from Poconos, and you have to pay for your trash to be picked up.
Right.
That's Pennsylvania, right? Isn't that Poconos?
Yeah. Oh no, Poconos are in New York. Oh. Well, but it is Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. No, ignore me. It's Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only because I heard that word from Brian Koberger.
Right.
Brian Koberger.
Well, and that's what she's saying you do have to separate your trash from food, but never heard of Ziploc bags. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Brian Koberger is so guilty, it's not even funny, to be honest with you.
And getting pulled over twice in the state of Indiana probably put the little hairs on the back of his neck and his bushy eyebrows stood up. And, and after that, he was wearing surgical gloves everywhere.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. So, let's see there. So yeah, as for Kegan Klein, and me and CD were talking about this and
Same. I
get
was
your
there
guys.
too.
Well, no, okay, you're right because it was in the group chat between me, you, and CD. Okay, fine. Adam was there too.
I'm not invisible.
A little bit sometimes, no, but so like Adam was saying earlier today too, and you have to agree, like, why now? Like, why now is there all of a sudden this change of hearing, to basically convert to a change of a plea hearing? So,
Right, because I mean, from what we've been told, there's no benefit to Kegan Klein for doing
right,
it. If there's no plea deal, then what benefit does it serve him
right.
to just arbitrarily change his plea?
Yeah. Thank you, subscriber. Whoever just came in right now. Well, there's a name for you, JCW Wigga Winga.
Hey there, Wigga Winga.
I think people make those names just so that we say them and look like morons because we don't say them right. JCW Wig Winga. Okay.
JCW Wigga Wingo. Wigga Wingo.
Wingo Wongo. Wingo Bingo. Yeah. Anyways, welcome. Yeah, the biggest trouble when it comes trash is the black bear. Yeah, the raccoons. Yeah, absolutely.
But like to go back to Kegan Klein, what it really raises for me is because I mean it makes no logical sense as to why he would do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's the precursor to something else.
Who does that run through my mind? He's running out of time. They probably didn't have a good reason to continue the trial again, so they stalled, and now he will plead guilty.
But what's the benefit to him? Who does?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any promise that we know of a lighter sentence. So why wouldn't you? He's a gambler. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you roll the dice at this point?
Right. Exactly. Why? To me, why would you plead guilty? Yeah. Oh, Steffa. I'm a little drunk and I need you now.
Support with Steph is super chat. $4.99. Thank you. I love you, Sunny and Adam. Thank you for being good stand-up people. XOXO.
Thank you. Support with Steffa. We had this conversation today. I always love genuine, honest, sincere, and just like I said, no bullshit type of people. It's just be yourself and be who you are and like who you are for that. And that's why I love you guys very much. That's why I love the kind-hearted people that truly care. And there's plenty of them that are in here that are always being supportive of this. And notice, Adam, that she put Sunny first. That says a lot right there, Steffa.
Well,
that means no, she was thinking of me first. That's exactly what happened there. You feel it? Did you feel it? Right. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Yeah, I can.
Right.
She loves me more.
I love Steffa. Who does? I think I always agree with who does, but I have to say, so here's my question. Huda says the river search stuff will now stay private and will not come out in trial. So if anything related to the Delphi investigation, which we were told it does, that the river search did relate to it, if information was given by Kegan Klein, I'm assuming that's what you mean, it might not come out if there's a plea deal, but it will be used in the Delphi trial. And that doesn't, abstain Kegan Klein from any sort of implications that he's involved in Delphi once it comes to Richard Allen's trial. In fact, if he's not getting a plea deal, then he's allowing them to be able to say whatever they want. So I don't see the benefit. I don't see the benefit of the river search stuff. I don't see him taking a guilty plea to keep something out of a trial that will then come out in another trial and still not keep him from punishment from it. Because I've thought about every scenario today. And yeah, he might have thought he was going to be found guilty, but if he has not been promised a lighter sentence, what would be the advantage of him not rolling the dice and taking his chances.
So. One second. I want to go back to what CD said when I asked him about it.
No, I get that. Who just? Yeah. Sorry.
No. So, sometimes I wish I could read this stuff. It's so funny. Where did I just trying to see? Something big. Sorry, guys. He definitely. Okay, so I had basically asked CD what he thought of it. Like, why would he do this? Like now, and then he said something big definitely changed for him to accept a deal. Now, if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, sorry, you guys, I am talking about analysis of crime with CD, and so that's of course the retired police officer, okay, who's our friend, great guy, just kind of tells it like it is on here. So CD said, why now? That's the biggest mark. This was coming through once they started to knock off charges. A deal was in the works. He definitely could be working with Ali. It makes a lot of sense with the Wabash weird ass search. His dad being named on the witness list to squeeze him a little extra. That was the start. Working towards a plea deal, you get some charges taken off. Get closer to agreeing on a deal. It will be a plea deal. He's changing his plea. Doesn't mean he's going to plead guilty to all the charges. We've done this many times on different cases. They are making a deal. He's going to plead guilty on whatever package they came up with. Because that's what I kind of said, yeah. Is that it feels like there's this package that he's been offered or something. And that's, because it doesn't make sense. He's not going to just go, oh, at least to me, he's not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to plead on guilty because we're getting close to trial now.
Well, then how do we explain the response specifically saying there's no plea deal yet, at least?
Well, right.
Because something significant had to have made him decide to do this, because without any incentive on his part, there's no reason to do it. So whether it's that he doesn't want something to come out, he's scared of something, he's working towards a deal and just doesn't have it yet, I just think there's going to be something more to this.
Lacey, it's a definitely a catch up. This case, you got ketchup. You get it, ketchup. Okay, I know, cheesy. I know. Okay, but when you have Delphi, and then all of a sudden Kegan Kline came into it, but not only did Kegan Kline be introduced to us about talking to Libby's phone that same day, etc., then it turned into that phone being the largest CSAM ring in Indiana. So that's why it's so layered. Not only is it convoluted with a bunch of useless information out there that is just some made up stuff and some far-fetched, fantasies out there of what really happened. But so when you're dealing with all of that stuff and you're just trying to find like the balance of what seems the most common sense and truthful. And then on top of that, then Kegan Kline gets brought into it, Anthony Schott's account, and then the CSAM. So it is a lot for a person to absorb if you haven't been really deep diving into the case. It's definitely a lot. It's a brain scratcher. It's more than a brain scratcher. It's actually a freaking headache is what it is. This case will melt any brain cells that you have left in your brain for sure. When it comes to Delphi, everything just goes zigzag. Nothing just goes like this. It just goes zigzag. Nothing's ever seems to be really answered. Just when you think like in this whole thing here, it's like, okay, well, odd. All of a sudden, here's this change of plea thing coming out. But to me, there's a reason for that. whenever something seems odd, there's always a reason behind it of some sort, of course. But I just mean, I don't think it's like, well, I guess time's running out, so we're gonna, I'm gonna plead guilty because I got all this on me. I don't think so. I don't think so. There's more to it than that. You would have just claimed, like, who knows? Um, some people feel that he's involved with Delphi. Some people, as time goes on, they don't feel like he's involved with Delphi. I'm never going to change my mind on that one either. I believe absolutely there's a connection to Delphi. He's part of the lure for Abby and Libby. Whichever way he was involved, whether it was handing over the account or letting someone else, to me, there's too many things that he did that, yeah. So, when they stack shit as high as they do with Kegan Kline, it's really hard to look away from it. And it's going to be like probably like a needle in a haystack that he probably had nothing to do with it, which is going to blow a lot of our minds away. If there was literally just a coincidence of freaking, stars and unbalancing and freaking Jupiter and Venus flying around, who knows? If that happens, I mean, I will totally be shocked, but I'm convinced that there's definitely an attachment there.
Whether knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know. So, and yeah, Lisa, his dad might have pressured him. I considered that. I considered him, a lot of things with Tony. And that could be, Kegan turned around in that interrogation back in 2020. And, he didn't do it at first, but it didn't take much for him to be like, yeah, my dad would have been the only person that, other than the friend one, that could have had access to all that. So that loyalty to his dad buckles under pressure pretty quickly, if it means saving himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I mainly go back and forth when I think about that interrogation now and the way that Vito and Clinton were interviewing him, and think to myself, were they interviewing him in that way because they truly have something to connect him to Delphi, other than the fact that he was catfishing Libby? Or were they just, trying really, really hard and playing a big game of fishing, if you will, because they thought he was involved but didn't have the evidence or proof of it. I still think that he has to be involved somehow, whether it be knowingly or unknowingly. My gut tells me probably online, but
it's just like I said, what's the chances? Really, what's the chances of that his phone was talking to her? Now, the one thing that we did get a take out of this is that Max Snowberger did speak up and said that, hey, yeah, Libby was telling me the night before that they were going to be going to the bridge. Whereas to Becky and Kelsey, they had, right? Basically, they were clueless that Libby had already planned that she was going to go to the bridge. That used to bug me so bad because I always felt it was a lure. And it used to drive me seriously bonkers, trying to figure out, well, how did they not know? Meaning it just didn't, I could never understand that, because I always was going, but this has to be a lure. And I'm like, but yet Becky and Kelsey keep saying this. But yet the only thing that makes sense was that it was a lure over there. But with Kegan Kline, again, you take the fact that he changed his Facebook, you take the fact that he's talking to Libby's phone, you take the, to the fact that, oh, wasn't I supposed to meet up with her or something like that, he says. There's just too many things with the Anthony Shots account showing up on girlfriend's sleepover from the sleepover house, and then that's how they knew about Anthony Shots and stuff like. You know what? No, there's Kegan Kline to me has just too much shit wrapped around him like flies. I can't see it being any different, to be honest with you.
Or he has the worst luck of a catfisher ever.
Oh my goodness, he would have to have the worst luck ever. Honestly,
or someone else just have access to his account and they intercepted.
Yeah, but
which still would have an involvement with Kegan Kline. even if that would be that would be more if it were indirect. But
now, we can't forget a couple things here either. Okay, the phone ping or whatever was at his cousin's place somewhere down.
It was logged into Wi-Fi.
Yeah, logged into Wi-Fi there.
That is
And
Travis Trexler's house.
And I still keep thinking, and people keep forgetting that the BG had headphones. He had a head freaking set, okay? Literally, like those big cone headsets on his head, okay? Microphone, headset. You think he's just bebopping down the bridge and going, I'm going to go get a couple girls. No, it's because he's communicating. He has to be communicating with someone. This isn't a solo act. I don't believe so for 1 second. And I think that most people don't believe that either. There are some that do. But people keep forgetting about things like that. That, like, he literally had a headset on. Can you really just see that a killer's going, I'm just going to put on some music because I'm going to go, if you guys think that it is RA that did it. Anyways, let's go back to what you guys are saying over there. Okay, the red Jeep thing, I never believed to myself ever. Did you, Adam?
No, I mean, I believe that he said it. Well, I mean, I know that he said it. I know that he said it. I've seen it, but I never put faith in the fact that it was true because Kegan Kline lies. That's what Kegan Kline does. Yeah. And so, if something's coming out of Kegan Kline's mouth, there's a good chance it's a lie.
Yeah. County is much easier. Yeah. So yeah, someone asked it earlier.
Exactly, Kathy. Yeah, stock ticker.
And that's not true. Remember our good friend Blaine? Remember Blaine said he would rather be in prison than in the county jail because in the prison you start getting all those different things where you can go outside, you can do all these certain things, and he said that being in county jail sucks versus being in prison. And Kegan Kline, I mean, he's been in there for like 3 years. Yeah. Who did say up there? You said she's 100%. Whatever you said.
I said she could be 1,000% right. She's
to be honest.
What?
Well, we don't know. We don't have the answers. So besides the people that are out there in La La Land that really think that like this is a really obscure out of like way out of the space type of thing, other than that, it's really anybody's guess. As long as you have, like I said, common sensing or thinking and all that stuff, it's anyone's guess. About none of us know the true answers. We can surmise and we can speculate, we can theorize, we can do all those things. And I could be 100% wrong and you could be 100% right, who dis, or vice versa. We just don't know. Time hopefully will open up Pandora's box and let us in and let us know, some of the stuff that's been being kept, secret or, unknown to us especially for anyone that's been following this case for the whole time. Where does the guy with the ski mask fit in? Yeah. Do you want to explain that one, Adam, again?
Well, if you're referring to the reported ski mask incidents that happened, I believe in 2010 or 2011 in the area, I don't know if they fit in at all. And if you're referring to the one that happened in 2017, a week after the girls were unalived, we've never, I've never seen to this day a police report or any. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I've never seen, and I've looked, and I've had a lot of people look as well. One bit of corroborating factual evidence of anything about a ski mask incident happening. Not to mention the logic of a 14-year-old girl inviting a boy over to hook up 7 days after one of her best friends was catfished by someone that you were also talking to and then was tragically unalived. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it does. And if something doesn't make sense, then something wrong with it. And again, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I would like to see the factual evidence around that reported incident.
Yeah. Because, right. I mean, if it did happen, what's the chances that 2 ski masks incidents happen where the Kleins lived? Right.
Well, Richard Allen's not 6 foot tall and thin. Kegan Klein's not thin. Tony Klein's not thin. You know, so I mean, so who's this mystery 6 foot tall, thinner person that was seen running away or whatever? And when you know where the house was, where were they going and coming from? Because it's not like you're in a neighborhood where there's tons of other houses around.
Yeah. Okay. Since the ski mask, what is CJK? Since the ski mask is mentioned in chat, was it discussed here recently that it may have been Alan? Right. And for said reasons, no, because it wouldn't make sense to the size of 6 foot and all that stuff.
I'd like to see Richard Allen try to look into a window, even if it was on the first floor. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So what is going to happen when KK is out? Well, who knows? I mean, like, it's anyone's guess the time that he's going to serve, because, like Adam was talking about earlier, it's a difference of will it be consecutive, will it be concurrent? Alexis.
Right. Either way, he has served almost 3 years. 2.5 years. And I believe who just said in the live earlier that I think in Indiana it's 1 day for 1 day served.
Yes, 1 day for 1 day served. Well, I know with like Chris Mathis, he got like what they call like the 50-50 rule and stuff like that. Basically, it's 1 day for 1 day. So you just cut it in half, basically.
Right. Jess Bevan. Sadly, I think there are a lot of creeps everywhere. I think we just have a hyper focus on this area of Indiana because of this case, and but I think if you highlight any area in the country, you probably are going to find just as many creeps, sadly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I look people up on Intellius, Lisa, no, who was it that's in that? Jess, when I look people up on Intellius, which is obviously a program that, basically tells me your family members, your friends, and stuff like that. Well, I mean, it gives as much as it can give. It tells me if you have a Facebook or something like that, emails and stuff. But one of the things that I always kind of look at as I'm scrolling down somebody's history is I always look at all this S predators that are around. And it's always very telling, like, meaning for me, when you see it in front of your face with all the little pointers of all these people, and it doesn't really matter where you go. Obviously there's some places that don't quite have as many, but I mean, like, where Summer Wells was, you guys? Van Life, you take care. Yeah, you have a great one. Take care. Thank you so much. And anytime you have a question, just, you can always email too at acrimingshame@gmail.com or come in here or whatever. It's either or. Anyways, you take care, Van Life. Have a good night. So what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, what was I saying, actually? You weren't even listening to me because you don't even remember.
No, of course I remember.
Of course you do. I think you were starting to talk, actually, not me.
No, I didn't say a word. I will answer while you're thinking of what you were saying.
Nope.
Or did you think of it? You got it?
Yeah, I'm going to end it. It was just simply like, it's amazing how many predators are around, no matter where I'm looking at in the States at different places. They're just everywhere. Yeah. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, no, I was just going to, Anna, where did it go? Anna said, I remember something about Kate. Let me do it. About KK saying he knew the girl's family and he had looked up her address. I was never sure what that all meant. It sounds nefarious. Okay. If you know the circumstances of this girl and her familial situation, there is a reason that even if Kegan knew her family, he might not know what address she was at that time. But I still don't. I don't think that Kegan showed up to her house in a ski mask. I just don't.
No, that one.
I'm not
Right
saying it
there.
didn't happen. I just don't believe Kegan showed up to that girl's house in a ski mask.
Correct. Somebody else did. So the whole point of I remember that conversation was that he said to them, said to the people interviewing him, he said, like, well, why would I need to look up the address if I already, like if I already know where she lives? And then they said, but do they know you as Anthony Schatz? And he's like, well, no, so, but the bottom line was, he's like, well, Allie, not Allie, the family is like I know them, so why would I need to look up their address? And so I truly believe that it was somebody else that was there, that he was correct in saying that. I mean, I'm sure he knows who it was, just obviously, because it was. Bottom line is for that piece right there, the Anthony Schatz phone got connected because of the girl that lives in that house. That is the same girl that said, hey, have you heard about Abby and Libby? Or did you hear what happened to Libby or whatever, however it was said, something like that. Did you hear what happened to Libby and Abby? No. Oh, I was supposed to meet up with her, type of thing. And then that same girl invites this person from the Anthony Schatz account and gives her address. And then within like 48 hours, I think it was, 24 to 40, I think it was 48 actually, hours. All of a sudden, this person shows up with a ski mask. And because of said incidents, they were able to take that phone number, whoever the Anthony Schatz account that she had messaged, right, that she gave the address to for this person to come see her. Next thing you know, a person in the ski mask shows up, apparently, according to the, what's been said about it all. We've never seen anything again. And so next thing you know, poof, that, Kegan Kline's attached to that. So, that all stemmed from that same girl that was at the sleepover with Libby, and remember how you guys, when Kegan Kline keeps going, no, I remember talking to her friend. And he's like, and they kept saying, about Libby. And he's like, oh, you mean the annoying one? He goes, no, like I was talking to the friend. And I'm like, well, hold on, but the friend is who you know, but you're Anthony Schatz on there. You're not Kegan Kline, because the real Kegan Kline, she would never give the time of day to.
Right. And he talked like that in the entire. He talked about Anthony Schatz almost like the third person, like it was a separate person. He was like, no, not Anthony Schatz. Remember when they were like, so you're into cars? And he was like, no, but Anthony, he like separated himself from Anthony Schatz, which was weird. But he was like, yeah, no, but I am Anthony, because he created the accounts. I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine. I just can't see. You're 14 years old. You're home alone. Your best friend was unalived 7 days earlier. And you're going to invite the one boy that you knew on the internet that your friend that was unalived also was talking to over to your house when no one else is home to hook up. Like,
I'm still going to say, go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
I'm like, there's just something about it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying, I feel like there's something off about it, and I'm not 100% convinced that's what led law enforcement to Kegan Kline. I think it was simply the messages that they found on Libby's social media.
Mm-hmm. Alexa, you can join us if you want still, of course, because we just started like not that long ago on there. I didn't really know what was going on, and then we just opted to the live, and whoever showed. And that's, because I'm not sure if CD will still show up or not, or what's going on. But anyways, feel free to, because I sent you the link. I still say that the Paladinos are going to be involved in the middle of all this. And I wouldn't even doubt if it was a Paladino. That would make more sense to the 6 foot thin person than any of them. right?
Travis Trexler would fit that as well, but
Travis Trexler would fit that as well, correct? But Kegan Kline, Tony Klein, Richard Allen do not fit the bill of what the person gave the description of whatsoever. There's nothing thin about any of those men at all, and never has been, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, was Anthony Schatz only talking to Libby and the one friend, or was he talking to more than one of the friends that were at, could that be what created some of the confusion? Is that, are we equating two girls really with trying to make them fit into one? Maybe Anthony Schatz was talking to two of Libby's friends.
What could it be? Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. And you guys, Travis Trexler, tall, thin, another problematic person. He was, remember during this time here, like I don't know, half a year ago. Remember, I think he was arrested. Yeah, So again, on the day of the girls unaliving, the phone, Kegan's phone, connected to the Wi-Fi of where Trexler's address is, which is his cousin. No, that's his uncle.
Travis Trexler's. He's Tony's cousin, but also then Kegan's as well.
Yeah, Kegan's uncle.
Oh no, he is Tony's. He's Kegan's cousin. Yeah, he's Kegan's cousin. Yeah, no, Kegan's dad, Tony, is brothers with Travis's mom.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Sorry.
No, my brain gets twisted when it starts going, your next nephew over to this right side. Yeah. Palladino.
Right. Well, it's been a year since all of that started kind of flooding into our, existence because of, so a lot happens in a year.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, it's just, this is just going to be an ongoing guessing game. And, it still always enters my mind, yes, we cover some other cases now. But, we can't just ride a case with the same information over and over and over and over and over again. It hurts my brain cells, to be honest with you.
We're talking about it today because there's new information.
Right. Absolutely. Delphi will always be our baby, regardless if we're talking about other cases or not. When this channel deems it as, worthy information to bring out and talk about, then we will. But again, like I said, we're not going to sit here and ride off something just to freaking clicks and views and just to sit there and keep coming up with all this different stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's fine if other people do that. I'm just saying that we personally can't stay true to ourselves and just kind of keep talking about something and beat it with a dead horse, in a sense, and keep just regurgitating the same things over and over. Bottom line is, until answers come forth, we can only just keep guessing and guessing and doing circles and circles and circles, And when you're kind of not knowing the case so much, that's when you go around to the different channels and you bounce around, and then somebody says this and you're like, hey, maybe that thought. And then somebody says this and you're like, hey, maybe that thought. And then you start gathering your own kind of theory of what you thought might happen. And then you start expunging or expelling all of stuff that doesn't make sense more so. But in this particular case, there is so much, what do you want to call it? So much, what's the word I'm looking for that I typically use?
Tentacles? Okay.
No.
So many
There's just so much like diarrhea.
Conjecture or speculation. Yeah. Nonsense.
Misinformation, nonsense. There's things that make sense and there's things that absolutely don't make sense.
I mean, if we like came out and presented everything that we're told, I mean, one, I don't think that's responsible, and two, I think that I don't have that many rabbit holes left in me because I'm like, some of it I'm just like, when I get something factual about this, then I'll revisit it.
Yeah, when you dive in something hard like we do with Delphi, and you realize that you're coming to a standstill because there's nowhere that we can go too much. Because honestly, Richard Allen is somebody that nobody has barely information on. And so nobody can claim that whatsoever. The only people that have that much information is going to be LE and all those people that aren't supposed to be talking.
I know, Sonny. I had quite a bit about him before.
I know.
When he first came.
Yeah. I mean, if it would have been one of the people that had been in that list, it would have been a different story. But we literally have a person that has virtually no social media presence. We're at a standstill. So when we get information like this, and this is to do with CSAM, so for anyone watching us, right, Kegan Kline, this is to do with a change of plea that will be happening on March 30th of 2023. Right. That means that basically he's going to plead guilty to whatever charges. And
with the agreement, there's without a plea deal as of yet.
Yeah. And you guys
like
all
some
know,
law enforcement have said that it could just be a first step into them getting a plea deal, but as of now, there's no plea deal. Sorry,
well, right? No, not at all. We're good at cutting each other off regardless, and we still go with it. We don't care. So no, just for me personally, the whole Wabash River search, how it's all been playing out, tells me that something that's happened with Kegan Kline's thing going on now is all part and package of what's going on.
Well, look at that timeline. I mean, do you remember? I mean, look at where they were searching on the Wabash River.
Yep.
And then I mean, they, someone asked earlier, and I don't think we answered it, but ISP did come out finally and say that it was related to the Delphi investigation. They tried to say it was the training thing for a long time, but they did say it was related to the Delphi investigation.
Remember the police
and we've been told, I know that Sonny and I both have been told, what they found in the river. And then literally how many days after it was it that Kegan had 5 charges dropped off of his charges.
Yep.
But and I was told that Kegan did not give them the information that led them to the Wabash River and what was in it. But the timing was interesting.
It's all interesting.
Right. So, yeah.
Right. No, I was going to say, the thing that makes us all sad is that we're talking about real humans, real children that had their lives taken away from them. Yet it feels like you're playing a game of Clue, who done it, who, what, where, when, and why. And you're, it's like a ridiculous puzzle that you want to find the answers for, that you don't know the answers for. No matter which way you go, it's a dead end. It seems like, oh, that's a bad expression. You know what I mean? But you come to a brick wall. There's a better word. You come to a brick wall with pretty much everything because there's nowhere to go right now. There's literally nowhere to go right now besides seeing a witness list come out, seeing this come out. There's nowhere to go in all actuality. We have dived deep into this. A lot of people can keep putting up thumbnails and say, this, because that's just going to happen, right? People are still going to want to talk about it, think about it, and whatever, ride the case, doesn't matter, whatever they want to do. But there's really nowhere to take this case right now. There is, besides the information coming out at us. That's it. Because Richard Allen was a nobody to everybody. Nobody had any idea about this dude. There's such a nominal online presence. And if you've had people like Alex Voorhees and stuff like that, and and myself and Adam and some other great people that have been digging hard into this case, and you're still coming up, with zero in a sense, again, if those people can't do it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen until more answers come out. So that's why, like I said, me and Adam just can't simply do lives on Delphi just to sit there and entertain you guys with a bunch of, BS pretty much. That would just be like using you guys for the benefit of the channel, and that's just not going to happen. That's why we're kind of moving on to other cases as well. But Delphi will always be at the course, and when something really important comes along, or we'll do lives and talk about certain things, Paladinos and stuff like that. Hi, Alexa. As time goes on, but we're not going to ride the case. We put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's time to, in lots of ways, just to sit back and let time bring out some information.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I am every bit as devoted to Libby and Abby as I was on the day that I first started looking into it, and I know you are too, Sonny, and that'll never change. And nor would we ever prioritize anything over Delphi. But I mean, look at all of the other things that are happening in the world, and I mean, I know that I'm not dissing anyone, but there are channels that'll go on and they talk about Delphi every day and whatever, and I'm like, and they regurgitate information that, one, is half the time not even real, and two, it's really just for them to fill time. And I'm like, why not give your time to like Scotty Morris, who is this 14-year-old kid who could potentially be in 18-degree weather right now outside, in if he still if he would have made it this far. But I don't know, to me it's just that's kind of a that's when you're I feel like that's when you're I don't know, it feels cringy.
It would be like hitting a ping pong ball back and forth nonstop every day, doing the same thing. Groundhog Day. No, I like the fact that as the channel is growing, that we're helping and bringing other awareness to other cases, because there is so many cases out there, and thank goodness for channels too. Like there's some now that are working really hard with Flora, and there's some, what I mean, there's people that are working on Suzanne Morphew, so it's a nice
like
balance.
they did with Karina, like we've done like with Ray Hanish.
Yeah. Anyways, hi Alexa, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I didn't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I apologize. I was waiting for your message. My son wouldn't go to sleep, and he's like, lie down with me, and I'm like, okay. So I lie down with him, and I passed out. But before, my mobile wasn't working, so I said, let me just reboot it, and I reboot it, but I turn it off instead of rebooting it, and I just passed out. And when I woke up, I was like, oh my God! I woke up in like frantic, and I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna kill me. I am so sorry.
Never done that before, has it?
No,
never. Alexa, it was all good, because the thing is that, like I said, because we had already done a live earlier today, so I'd asked CD, hey CD, do you want to come on and do a live? And then he said something about if his kid can go down, but I didn't want to make a live. I wanted it specifically to be if CD was coming on, because CD had some very good points. So I was kind of torn. Are we going to do a live? Not. So I ended up going to the Dollar Tree, getting some bunch of snacky foods with the husband, and then come back home and made some dinner. And then I was like, oh, because I just was, like I said, the point is that what's the point in doing a live if the person that you want's there might not be able to make it, but you don't know the answer. So then it was just like, oh, well, you know what? Adam did a thumbnail up, and it had, Scotty Morris on it, and Stephen Smith, and then this one. So I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Because we'll just talk about those cases. And then, if you or CD show up, then you do. And if not, then we're still, talking about other cases as well.
Yeah, I just couldn't sign in the old way because I'm in my son's room. So because he, every time I walk out, he's like, Mama, Mama, and he wakes up. So I'm like, oh my God. So I had to stay here. So I apologize. But I can see the chat. I got my other mobile.
Alexa, what do you think of all this? Like, what do you think about this? About the fact of all of a sudden, there's going to be.
I mean, I am torn. Part of me is like, it's almost like it's obvious. Like I knew this was going to happen because I always believed that he had some connection. But a lot of other people are like, no, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think this is proving that it has nothing to do with Delphi. So I don't know. My heart is still that I think he is connected somewhere, somehow to this case. And this is just the proof right now that, obviously I knew he was not going to go to trial. I always knew he would, no way that he was going to go. So, I mean, maybe. I mean, I think there's still a chance that he might be connected.
Because I remember listening to, or I was listening to some, I don't know, some expert talking about it as well, and they had said that most people, when it comes to this type of thing, the humiliation wins out, and that there's usually always some sort of like plea deal or some sort of something going on. Because like, first of all, the people that are involved, I'm sure, don't really want to come and talk about it. But the person involved, meaning Kegan, I mean, the humiliation in front of everyone about you being just a little little fiddler diddler type of idea. And so it's not shocking. It's not giving us any answers towards Delphi, but I still believe that he's connected, absolutely.
Again, it's almost like we can never get straight answers with Delphi.
I know.
With nothing. Like nothing makes sense, and nothing is ever connected.
Right. Well, Alexa, today's not that day.
Today's not that day. Yeah. We're just gonna hold the answers closer to our Yeah.
Where have I heard that before?
I don't know. Yeah, 1,000 times.
I wonder.
It is quite funny though when you listen to Doug Carter, and then he said the same exact things for the flora. It's almost like someone that just has a certain speech in their head that whenever these things arise, it's almost like a copy and paste answer. Because I remember listening to him for flora, and I was like, and this is when I had heard of Delphi before flora, and I was like, dude, you're saying literally the exact same thing you said in Delphi. And it was just, I hate copy and paste answers like that. Go ahead.
I haven't really followed flora. I mean, obviously I know the case, but I really haven't really looked into it. But I never seen him speak about flora, so I have to go and look at it.
Yeah, he said the same thing about keeping it close to the vest. Just same verbatim speech, pretty much. And I, like, you're literally listening to it going, well, that's exactly what you said with Delphi, like a copy and paste answer. So to me, and I've also heard other LE officers, use those same type of lingo when they're talking in different counties that are outside of Indiana. And I'm like, oh, this must be just a real basic generic copy and paste answer that they all use, because it's like they use that same terminology. And you're just like,
yeah, usually they don't like giving a lot of information. They don't, because anything, they can leak, or if they're wrong, they don't like admitting they're wrong. So they try to be as basic as possible. Here in New York, when we used to talk with them, they were like that too. They never like giving information. They never give too much.
Yeah.
It's also a way to protect themselves too.
Right.
But yeah.
Just quickly on this one, Shelly says, because I remember this, Adam, maybe you remember it better than I do. Does anyone else remember it saying that AS was sending Libby dollars?
Right. It was from the Kegan Kline interrogation. Released by, a little over a year ago now. And all it said, it was when Vito was running through things, and he goes, he was running through evidence they have. He said, we have this. And then at one point in it, he says, we have the money going from the Anthony Schatz account to Libby, or the Anthony Schatz money account. That's what it was. The Anthony Schatz money account. So it never, says that there was money being sent. It said there was a money account. So the wording was, can be taken different ways. And there was never any context past that given.
Yeah.
And the family never said, they never came out and said, she got any money or nothing, no connection with the money.
The family didn't think that this was related to social media for
that's right,
a long time.
I think they did. I think at one point they had to be like,
Well, do you remember when Becky? That was the most genuine, heartbreaking thing in the world, was hearing Becky, talk about how she missed things, that, because they genuinely didn't believe that this was related to social media. And even though, I mean, remember, this was called the Snapchat.
A while.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, I said after a while, I'm like, it has to kind of click. Because I remember when I remember listening to the news, I remember the news crew saying actually, I don't know if they call it the Snapchat. Yes, I think so. I don't know if I'm putting words in my head, but yes, I think that's what they called it. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
And that was like 2 years ago.
Oh, that was like when it first happened, even.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't drop that. Like, even I just like, that's what's like, honestly, that was one of the biggest stumps in my brain. Was the only way to me that this is possible was that that Libby, or both, but probably Libby, they were lured there, one or both of them, whichever it was. And I couldn't ever stop never believing that, because it's the only thing that made sense. But yet I was fighting the fact in my head that Becky and Kelsey kept saying that, well, no, it was just a regular day. My sister asked my sister to come, and she said, she couldn't, I had to work. And then, Becky was paying money to whatever. And so when they tell it, it's like they're telling the truth, but then you got mad.
I think they are. I mean, I think that,
I do. Yeah. They were telling the truth. And so they were stunned. And so when you had the LE saying, like, it was like the LE was saying, and everyone was saying, like, no, this has nothing to do with the learn. I'm like, that's the only thing that makes sense. And this answer would drive me bonkers up until the whole Kegan Kline thing came out. And then I was like, finally, now that ended up turning out to be another headache in itself, because I thought, great, now we have some answers. That just led to more questions and answers, or more questions. Right. And
you remember that interview? I mean, it was a very old interview, but I thought Mike Patty said it really well when he talked about, like, he was asked, it was like outside the garage or in the garage, and he was asked, like, how much more information, like, what do you, like, I'm sure you guys know a lot more than the public does. And Mike Patty said, he's like, I talk to these guys every day, and he's like, but no, he's like, we're told some stuff. He's like, but we don't know everything. We don't want to know everything, because, like, if you look at the Chadwell stuff, I mean, it's these huge peaks that come up, and, of course, as a family member, you're going to have to feel that, like, emotion, and then just to have it go nowhere. And, he talked about how, they hear about some stuff before the public does, but not usually. They don't know everything. And so if something like this happens to your loved one, you're going to naturally try to piece everything together, but they're piecing it together with the information they have, which isn't everything that law enforcement has. Hopefully it's more than we have, but.
Well, sometimes, I mean, the family doesn't want to know, and they tell they tell Ellie, and they're like, you know what, when you have substantial news or whatever, you have the story to tell us. Or sometimes the police doesn't want to give the information because they're, they are worried that they might be leaking information or whatever the case might be.
I think families are always different.
They don't tell the family everything.
Right. Like, look at the Gonzalez family. They clearly
go to the public. No, no, come on.
Yeah. I think in this particular case, like most families, you have these parents and grandparents that thought of their grandchildren in a certain way, or their daughters in a certain way. But, because we all know that really parents are the last to know, really. I mean, when it comes to certain stuff. And we all know more so now that those girls weren't as innocent, but that means that they were being girls. They were being like any other typical teenager that's talking to some people online. That's the age and the era that things are. You're talking on Snapchat, you're talking on TikTok, you're doing all those things. And the thing is that you're not going to sit there and go to your grandparent or your parents there and go, you're going to sneak around and do stuff. I don't think that it's so correct. I think Truffle Shuffle, that the family like to portray themselves a certain way. Well, it's more that I think that definitely it's been portrayed. It's been portrayed for a long time, obviously, that, these girls, because they weren't connecting it to social media, of being lured and anything like that. So
I think they were also told it wasn't social media. at the beginning.
Correct. They were told too, so they were quite shocked. Like, I mean, Becky was.
Remember what
kicking
Becky
herself.
said?
Yeah, she was kicking herself there because she felt so bad that she basically, like she had no idea, and had she have known, which she didn't, so she feels a tremendous amount of guilt about the
And remember
fact
how they felt when the second sketch came out? Like,
yeah. These families have been taken for a ride. Now, this channel, we put no shame blame on the family for being any part of the actual homicides of these two beautiful girls. You guys know from me personally. Oh, there's Ray Jones. Hey, Ray, Ray just got uncheap. Look it. Do you see what happened there?
Sonny, did we lower our membership price?
Oh wow.
Ray, did that?
Wait.
I feel like.
Is it buy one get one free day? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Ray, is it because I made that comment before where I said you're too cheap and you haven't even ever been a? Is that why?
He must have had a good catch. Because he's been gone for a couple of days. He's probably been fishing and he probably got a good catch.
Is that what happened, Ray? Yeah. $1.99. Yeah.
Or he got his tax return back. Sorry, I'm just kidding, Ray.
We like to razz Ray.
Or Ray.
Ray's been a long time follower of this channel. Anyways, thank you, Ray, for becoming a member. You know what? He just stalks me. It's I'm used to it now. Right? But anyways, yeah. So obviously the girls aren't as, no, I don't hate to use the word innocent because, it's
they are innocent. I mean, they are innocent.
Doing, yeah. It's just common stuff that teenagers do. It wasn't like they were these, in all
they're being
fairness,
kids.
They're just being kids. Kids being kids. You're not going to tell your parents. You're not going to tell them everything. You certainly are not. And then you can see Kelsey felt so hurt when she realized it as well, because even she didn't know, and her and Libby are so close. But again, right?
I do. With them, I do understand because they live in a small town. And I think this was in 2017. So I will give them a little bit of a pass. But I think nowadays, the way the internet is, everybody in the world knows what catfishing is. So I think to do something like this, that there's a certain risk element to it. So, kids do know the risk. They decide to ignore it, of course, because they're young and they're stupid. But I do think sometimes I think they knew the risk. I think they just decided to ignore the risk. Like when you're young and you're stupid, you're like,
Alexa, next you're going to tell me that there are not hot singles in my area that want to meet me. And I should stop clicking on those links.
So sorry to break your Carrie. Right?
That they knew the risk, Alexa, of what was right and wrong, but they would be, to me, incomprehensible to the fact that they would ever think that somebody was going to come along and take their life. You know, like that part.
And that's what I'm saying. And especially like in that small town, I think they feel safer. I think they feel safer that, because that stuff didn't happen there. It's not like in New York City that, this happens every other day. Yeah. So I think that, that's why they feel safe. Yeah. But this, and I always say to everybody, I love to speak about Delphi because I want people, and especially kids, to understand the danger of that. And this, I always put I don't even know if this is really connected, but I always connect it and make it like that, make it seem like that, like like the Snapchat, so people can realize that, you have to be careful. Nowadays, you cannot trust. Look at how many kids they've been killed. Oh, right. Sorry, I'm alive.
But Lisa said teenagers like to explore the world. Is a shame it's not that safe out there. And I think it's actually an important part of in the development of being 13, 14 years old, is that you do start to have your own private life. And, you know, and I mean, yes, I mean, that it's arguable whether you have the right to that when you have parents and you're a kid. But I think it's natural to start to set boundaries that, you know, you want to start to kind of keep your own things to yourself and to explore with, you know, what your world is. And sometimes that does mean not telling your siblings or your parents everything. I think it's part of your brain developing as well. But
yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's a bad world, and the parents also have, in this case, because it was the grandparents, it's a little bit different. But I think as parents, we have to be 4 steps in front of
Ahead.
our kids and always keep an eye on them, especially online.
No, you see, I actually disagree with that statement because I think that the internet is a wonderful thing. I think
right.
what happened here, from at least what I think who this, my thoughts on this would be this, is that when the internet came out, there was, I mean, granted, right? If you're bad, you're gonna try to do things no matter what. But when the internet came out, they they obviously didn't foresee the future in so many ways, because when the internet came out, you could pretty much do everything and anything that you wanted to. There was no rules, no regulations. You could download clip art. There was none of this copyright stuff going on. You could just do whatever you wanted. And then they had to try to gain control. Well, obviously now, right? Like I said, it's almost like the internet is like 4 steps behind and they're like 4 steps ahead of it, really. Like the predators and that. I mean, I'll agree to the point, because obviously the internet has allowed this stuff to happen, but should there have been probably a lot, like, how many times do you guys go to a site and it says click here if you're 18 years or older? Yep, I'm 16, but click 18. And then you get to watch whatever it is, Like, what the heck's that going to do? In all fairness, nothing. Because they can't control, like, there's certain things that they can't control in a sense. So, really, the responsibility goes back, in a sense, to the parents. But there's no way that a parent, no matter how hard they try, can sit there and people want to sometimes shame parents on this, but there's no way that you can stop teenagers and stuff from hiding things and doing things. There's just no way. Like, you can be the best parent in the world and think that you're blocking this from them and not letting them go on
Mm-hmm.
the Facebook, but they have to go on the kids Facebook and this and that. But behind your back, what kids are doing because of their peers and peer pressure and stuff like that. But of course, the internet has made the world so easy to prey on people, because, again, I mean, there's really like, yes, there's internet crime stuff and that, like that, but I mean, honestly, you're talking about a handful of people that work on that versus the amount of predators will totally outnumber the people that are working on the internet crime stuff. And it's just the way it is. And so it's kind of like I agree with you, but I disagree in some ways, just because of the fact of they never had control of the internet and they still don't have control of the internet. And so the parent has to try to be as, um,
Mhm.
you don't want to sit there and freaking make your kid feel like you're, watching every step that they're doing. But yet, when you work in the true crime here, like, it's amazing
You
what you
do.
learn, right? It's amazing what you learn. Like, I would have never have
Mhm.
thought that all these sex rings, all these
Mhm.
CSAM things exist, until being
Mhm.
in here. And so when you say this to somebody that has no clue about the true crime area, they're just going to laugh it off like it's not going to happen to them, or because they don't even sense the, just the aptitude, whatever, of how much there is out there, that there's
Right.
all these predators right on their doorsteps at all times around them,
Mhm.
looking to take advantage. Like, people don't even grasp that unless you're kind of in the true crime and are really wary of what's going on. I don't know.
And there's also a misconception always that people, I hear with my friends all the time, oh, but we live in a nice area. We don't have that here. And I'm like, oh, honey, I'm like, if I show you, you would be
Yeah,
shocked
yeah,
to see that
right.
your neighbor, you're, two neighbors or whatever,
Yeah.
they, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a good area, if it's a bad
Yeah.
area. Unfortunately, this is the society that
Yeah.
we're in, and it happens everywhere. And I think the more money, the more complicated. I think that
Yeah.
the more, yeah.
Well, you know what? All you'd have to do is show your neighbor in Tellius and pull up your own address, and then show her
Mm-hmm.
how just exactly how many predators are truly in that area that you guys live in. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot, and then that person's going to be like, "Whoa!" Like, because again, they don't grasp it unless they visually see it, because it doesn't, because they won't think of it in the same way as what we do when we know it, because we see it by looking like, for like, especially me, right? I'm always looking at Intellius, and I'm always looking at how many predators are kind of around that area, especially when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to a child that's gone missing, and it's just as astronomical. The numbers that you don't think, and then you look and you're like, oh my god, there's one that's just down the road from where I live and stuff like that, right? It's crazy. It is crazy, and it's a sad world. And yes, because the internet's a beautiful thing, and yet by the same token, it has done so much damage in itself, for sure. I don't know. Anyway, let go back to what Adam's probably trying to say something there too.
No, I'm not at all. I was just reading who just said good old 5-pound encyclopedias to do homework. LOL.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember.
We had the set of
Britannica.
Britannic ones that each one had a different color, and
Yeah,
I
Britannica.
thought we were really fancy because someone came to our house and sold them to us, and we bought them, and then
Yeah.
that was probably a big waste of money.
No one should ever send intimate pictures online, but they do. I'm not going to say I'm not even guilty, but I'm an adult. I wasn't doing it when we didn't have internet to do it at that point. But I mean,
I wish there had been OnlyFans when I was like 20.
yeah, I know.
You would
I
have
would
been
have
rich.
I would like screw college. I'm kidding.
Well, they had the what do you call it? The stripping. That made a lot of money. You don't have no idea how many friends made thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but
Doing that
it's
on the
different
weekend.
it's different for the guys. There's like one plays usually.
Yeah.
And I don't like to leave the house, so I mean, like the whole OnlyFans thing would have been perfect for me.
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. You guys, we're at the 1 hour and 23-minute mark.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to move on to which one do you want to do next? You want to talk about Scotty Morris next?
I don't know.
Well, either one. I don't care.
Well, let me just
Come on.
let me just
I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Alexa, did you have anything else before we move on to anything else? Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about Kegan Klein or Delphi or anything? If not, then just say no. Alexa? Alexa? Alexa, come back to me.
Well, I'm gonna wait to leave you for a minute then.
No, that's fine. I'm fine. You go ahead.
No, I can't leave you by yourself, Sonny. Well, how would you ever? How would you survive, Sonny? No.
I can handle myself. Don't worry about
Wouldn't hear of it.
Go away. Oh, Alexa's lagging. Oh, okay. Just pop out and pop back in then, Alexa.
Oh.
Yeah. I think she said, yes, I think it's okay. I got nothing else to say. Let's move on. Yeah. Adam, go ahead. Go to the bathroom. Actually, I know exactly where you're going. Go ahead.
I'm going to use the restroom.
Yeah. Is that the outhouse one?
Yeah. My parents do live in the country. No, I'm
There you
kidding. They live in a neighborhood.
There we are.
Look where we are.
Pop. My head's missing. Oh, that was hilarious the other day, because I remember looking at somebody's comment and someone said, I just can't do the bow. And I don't know, usually watch the lives back, you guys, but I was watching the live back from when John was on
Oh,
here.
the yellow bow from Nicola.
Yeah, and there was the bow that was in the corner, and it was like sitting on top of my head, and like it happened multiple times, and then I understood why that person was laughing, because when you're in a live sometimes and I'm popping, behind things and you're listening, you're not always seeing, of course, what's in chat. So, so please never be offended, because it's literally, as a creator, you're literally trying to, keep things moving along, trying to pull things up, trying to look at chat and me, squirrel and stuff like that. But anyways, someone made a comment about, I just can't do the bow, LOL. And all of a sudden I go back and I look at this thing, right? And I'm like, yeah, let me go listen to that live a little bit. And all of a sudden I was just like sitting there and the bow was right on top of my head. That made me laugh. So, Alexa's lagging. But hey, yeah, you go ahead, Adam. I got these guys. We're just fine.
Oh, yeah, fine. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll be back then.
All right. Okay. I'm going to ditch you guys too. Turn off my camera for a second. Let me just quickly play something for you guys. Share screen. We're going to go to... We're going to go to... Oh, there she is. 1 second. Let me have to cancel this now. Are you better, Alexa?
Oh my God. I am telling you, tomorrow I am calling Verizon. And I don't know, I am switching because I am tired. We pay so much money for this internet and it's so laggy. The past 3 months, it's been horrible.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, because you've never been so laggy as you have been lately.
Well, I was away. So when I was, in Guatemala, I understand have Wi-Fi where I was. Yeah. But in here, I mean, in my own, house, I'm like, come on. And my husband is like, no, the router. Blah, blah. And I'm like, no. I'm like, it's been so laggy at home too.
Yeah.
So I am calling tomorrow, and I'm just gonna yell at them. Well, I should call because we're like the only idiots that pay like $280 for a cable that we don't even watch. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Like I was telling my husband, I'm like, well, why are we paying for HBO? Why are we paying for Showtime and all those channels when we have, all the Netflix and the Apple TV and everything? We don't even watch. Barely watch TV anyway.
I never watch TV anymore. I just computer. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to find something here as well.
So. Ever since you guys are bad influence, I barely watch TV. Because my time is either, doing work, the kids, or here. So I'm like, I actually got my report for online, how much time I spent online. I never got it before, but I don't know why I have it. I don't know. My husband put it for my kids because my kids were using my mobile last week. Yeah. And oh my God, when I saw how much I spent last week, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Jesus.
Oops, 1 second. What do you mean now playing? Okay, stop. 1 second. I just think to myself, I could sit there and watch something useless on TV, or else I could do something more productive. Is kind of how. Whoops. Let me see. Stupid thing. Pop up. Is this gonna expand? Oh, this one's expand. So I'd rather do something more productive than just sit there and watch TV and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. But there's sometimes I miss it, but for the most part, no. Yeah. I can just watch any of it typically on like Prime or something like that anyway. Okay, so let's what does that say? Anna, is this one of those information packets that you got that sticks in your brain, you said? 100 years ago, society freaked out about the new motion picture industry destroying society. Films have done some harm, but we survived. Yeah, I mean, thing is that we all know 20 years from now it's going to be a lot worse, and everyone's going to deem everything as a lot worse. But I mean, it is. I don't know. I mean, the internet really did was a whole new evolution, definitely, to access to different things. But this right here, you guys, is somebody like it. And anyways, this is to do with, we'll do this. This is to do with Scotty Morris case. Okay.
Deputy Police Chief with the Eaton, Indiana Police Department. We're doing this live video to put out or to squash some rumors that we're hearing. At this time, there's no crime scene. There's nothing being taped off for part of this investigation. The haircut itself that people are talking about had been done prior. That was done prior due to Scottie's request at a hair salon. That was not done the night of, that was done days prior. There is a multi-agency involvement, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, volunteer fire departments, surrounding counties, our county. We're all working together. Several volunteers, hundreds of people have come out to help us. Family, friends, other public safety agencies have come out to assist us. Businesses have donated things, flashlights, food, and it's greatly appreciated. But we wanted to squash these rumors that we're hearing on social media. We want Scottie home safe. As of right now, the search will be coming to a close, and we're going to suspend that at sundown today. And then we are going to have a multi-agency meeting tomorrow for public safety, and we will go from there to see what else we need to do. At this time, we just ask if anybody knows where Scottie is at, you please reach out to us. We want to get him here safe and to try to help him in whatever he needs and the family. There have been several interviews done. Polygraphs have been conducted. At this time, we're still looking at other avenues, and we have no new leads, no new information. We're kind of at a standstill right now. So anything that you guys may know that can help bring Scottie home or to us, that would be greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so again, if anyone isn't aware of Scotty Morris, you guys again think of always something like if this was your child. Okay, so make sure you put this out to your social media. Anything to do with Scottie. I have a question though, like. It's been since the 16th, and today's the 20th. And he has a twin, apparently, a twin sister, and an older sister. Apparently, I'm not really sure because there's a few different things being said. From what Adam has said, this is his natural parents, and that his mom had done an interview on. You know what? I haven't watched that yet. Did you watch it? Did you watch it, Alexa?
What, the mom speak?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And
honestly, it was disgusting. It was painful. Like, she was trying to cry, but there was no tears coming down. I took it as, I think she was more worried about her, like what's going to happen to her when I guess he appears, than the kid itself. Like, I mean, I think I would be more frantic if I lost my lipstick than her. I cannot even comprehend how I would be and I am a person that I can handle stress very well. I think my brain works better in stressful situations. But I think if one of my kids, God forbid, something would happen, I would go crazy. I would be bonkers. I would be screaming, searching in every single house. I would be a nut, worse than I am, I think.
Right.
Okay.
And you can tell, I don't know. I just didn't like what I saw. I didn't like.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Adam?
No, I need to watch it. Adam, we're going to play it. Hold on.
Yeah. I put a video out with it earlier today.
I want to share it because I literally meant to go back to it and I didn't.
Right.
And I think
Sonny, I sent you a picture of Scottie and his twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As little. Yeah, when they were little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's play this quickly because I personally haven't seen this. You guys. So let's look at how the mom is speaking in this one.
And who did some? If you want to skip towards the end, I think it's like 2 minutes something.
Scott, I love you, and I want you to come home.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's watch that again.
I wish it had shown you an ad. I'm kidding.
hold on.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Scott, I love you. And I want you to come home. And I know that you're mad and confused. And
yeah, I gotta stop it there for a second. That was, I'm sorry, but did that look like someone went, cut, okay, act? That's what that just felt like to me. Like, no, you're good for a second. And it's like, okay, Scott, did that not just come off like that? Okay.
She is full of FBS.
Yeah, let's watch that again.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Scott, I love you. And I want you to come home. And I know that you're mad and confused. And I'm afraid that you're scared of all of this. Everyone is out looking for you. And we're not trying to scare you. You're not in trouble. Okay? If you're in a house and they come to you and you don't want to go out because it's the cops, reach out. Me and Dad will come get you, okay? I love you and I just want you to come home. I need you to know that you're safe. Please just call 911. Tell anyone. I need you home. I just need you home, okay? And I love you so much, okay?
OMG. OMF.
Yeah, I told you. She is more concerned. Her body language tells me she's more concerned about her, like what's going to happen to her, than finding the kid.
You know, Kate, this, I just want to tell you right now how I felt about that. Okay, cute. Oh, God. I'm just going to say what they're all saying to you, and we're searching for you, and come home, Scott. I mean, because they're saying if you don't come to the door, if you're scared, and hold on, I think I'm gonna put in some more tears at the end of it. Oh, Scott, what the hell was that? What the heck was that? I didn't believe her for a second.
Usually, when you cry, from your 43 muscles in the face, when you cry, there's 11 muscles that you use when you cry, and usually your face, your forehead drops, especially in your mouth, the inner corners of your mouth, in the glabella area that I tell you that is between your basically it's your forehead. The glabella is between your eyebrows. That area, it drops. And look at her. It's almost like she has Botox. Like no expression.
Yeah, she doesn't. But yeah, I doubt it. Did you notice that?
She's doing everything with the mouth.
Sorry, go
Alexa, go on.
Sonny, go on. Okay, sure. No, just kidding.
And I was just gonna say, if you listen to her words, and I mean, if they, whatever forms of punishment they may have used, I may not agree with or whatever, but I mean, if these parents did nothing wrong, then, I mean, of course my heart is broken for them, but mainly for Scottie, not, they're not my concern. But I agree, and I understand what everyone's saying with the suspicion about them, because even in this, she put all of the blame on Scottie. Yeah. If you're mad, if you're this, if you're that, it was never like it was never like, we just want you to come home because we love you. It was like, you've done this, and even though you might be this and this, don't be scared of the police. Don't, everything was not her fault. And the biggest thing I thought was, where was the dad? And I heard two different accounts today. I was told that the dad was not there today because he was at work, which I'm like, okay, there, hundreds of people are in the 5th day of searching for this boy. So why is the dad at work? And then I was told that the dad didn't go to that because he was home with the other children. And I'm like, okay, well, you have hundreds of people searching for your son. Not one of them would have volunteered to stay with the kids while you stood next to your wife and pleaded for your son to come home.
Yeah.
Where was the dad? Sorry.
I'm just absolutely shocked by how pathetic that was. And you know, I mean, I'll say I feel 1% bad if I'm totally wrong on this, but come on. You know, what she said was pretty much verbatim to what they had said the other day, that this was, the shirt was, you know, like they only used the picture that they had, you know, and the way that guy was speaking.
He wanted to wear that. He wanted to wear that. Because it was white lie day at school. Remember? It was white lie day at school.
Yeah, right. So he wanted, whatever. Right.
He liked that shirt.
Anyone knows a freaking fake plea when they hear it, that's no different than Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew was so, you know what? Barry Morphew had a better fake, to be honest, than that one. That one was just clear up. No. Okay, camera. Scott, we're just going to repeat what they've been saying, you know, like, you know, the searchers, you know, we just want you to come home. Oh my God. And I was watching those freaking eyes do this, and then, and it was just like, oh, it was like watching someone that did bad acting. That was horrendous.
I mean, you know, I've been following this case really closely. I mean, I found several things interesting. We know that the parents have been polygraphed. And did you play did you play the Liggett, the police chief's thing while I was gone?
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to the wording that he used, it was very interesting because he never really, he talked about them being polygraphed, but he never really said anything about it. He was like, and so we're looking at avenues. And, you know, I've heard from sources that, you know, the only time the dad's been visibly emotional to anyone outside, you know, to anyone throughout this entire thing is when he was asked to take a polygraph and that he cried. I don't know if it's true, but I found that interesting. And then I also find some of the family's response to be really interesting because, I mean, Scottie's a twin, 14 years old, and here his 14-year-old sisters on. When I read those posts that she posted responding to someone on TikTok, to me, it either sounded like a classic example of someone that had been groomed, because you don't put the blame on your twin brother when you're 14 years old about, like, he's a bad kid.
Right. Yeah.
And I either thought that, you know, this was a classic example of someone that's been groomed into thinking a certain way, or it was not the 14-year-old child that wrote that post. And then even the aunt tonight, one of the aunts posted, every family member that's done anything publicly has not done it they've been attacking people and defending the parents. And like one of the aunts even like posted on a Facebook group, Scottie, if you're reading this, come home. Why would, you know, I'm like, why wouldn't you post it on your own private Facebook page where, you know, Scottie's more likely to probably be your friend than, you know, a missing
Why are you outside looking for him?
And she was, and she had said that she had spent the whole day out there, but, you know, I'm like, but then it was like, you know, you need to leave these people alone. This is why you know, it's all been attacking and not, I don't know. I feel like there's something off with, something.
There was
I'm not saying that anyone has anything to do with it, but there's something off.
Let me put it this way. If I would have seen that, and this child's been missing and was found gone, I'd have been saying, she is full of it. She reminds me of Letitia Stout. Just someone that literally, I mean, her acting, like, for me, okay, I mean, I shouldn't be saying this really, but that to me was acting at its worst. Like, there was nothing sincere about that. So whether it was the cameras that were offsetting, but come on now, you guys. I mean, like, you know, this is where I don't give myself credit enough, because like she literally turns to the camera and go, okay, like cue camera, you know, and then it was just like, okay, so, you know, he's like, you're good, whatever. Scott. That's all I heard was nothing. I heard a bunch of nothingness besides. It just sounded fake and false and just insincere. Didn't even, like, you know, like if that was my son, like, you know, like first and foremost, my eyes would be so darn ass puffy I wouldn't even be able to see right now, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I mean? It's just like you can tell sincerity when you hear it, and that was not a sincere outreach to her child. That was almost this like, no, like you told, like it's almost like a mother talking that honestly didn't give a shit is what it felt like.
Yeah, after yesterday, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe I'm being judgmental. After today, I am really hoping that the child ran away and there's not something more sinister that happened to him.
Right. And it's important also to remember that, not only is her child missing, but this is a child this is a child who's been, the police have said in quotation marks, may require medical attention and is in extreme, they believe is in extreme physical harm or extreme danger. So I mean, like, not only is her son missing, but she clearly knows whatever issues there are that cause them to say would need medical assistance and could be in extreme danger. She knows what those issues, like she knows what those issues are, and so you think that would create even more of a panic to her and a plea when she's issuing this, but it was still all about Scottie's behavior and how he was at fault and how he would be mad and he would be scared. But
I gotta show that again.
Yeah. To me, the best case scenario, there's not a good scenario in this case, because if he had a horrible home life and he ran away, that in itself is horrible and sad. Or if he did something to himself, or if the parents did something to him, there's not a good answer to any of this. I just hope that he's somewhere safe.
Absolutely. But, as time's going on, I'm starting to get a little bit more of, but I want to play this again.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me
it's been 5 days and, it was 18 degrees. Sorry, I'm done.
Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah. I just want to play that part again because I just can't get over the start of this. Okay.
Do I hold that?
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Scott, I love you. And I want you to come home. And I know that you're mad and confused. And I'm afraid that you're scared of all of this. Everyone is out looking for you. And we're not trying to scare you. You're not in trouble. Okay? If you're in a house and they come to you and you don't want to go out because it's the cops, reach out. Me and Dad will come get you, okay? I love you and I just want you to come home. I need you to know that you're safe. Please just call 911. Tell anyone. I need you home. I just need you home, okay? And I love you so much, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. No. There's like, I shouldn't publish it, but I'm gonna say exactly kind of what Alexa said. Welcome back, Alexa. Actually, you weren't really lagging to me too much. I didn't feel like you were, but no.
Yeah, and Diamond
really? Because I couldn't
Susan Smith.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, you couldn't? Okay.
No, I could it was broken. So I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting I'm like speaking over you. I apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, come on.
What? Yeah. I don't know. There's 84 people in chat. Do you think that she was being sincere or insincere in her delivery?
It takes a lot for me to ever even remotely question the parents of a missing child.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me to even verbally express, my concerns. But I can't ignore the fact that I'm not saying that they did something to him. I don't think that this is a good situation.
That's my thing there too. It's like, I felt the same way I felt about Barry Morphew. I felt angry for what I just watched. That's how I feel about that.
And where's the dad?
I hope I'm wrong. But I wasn't wrong about Barry Morphew. I'll tell you that much. And that wasn't genuine. I'll leave it as that. That was not a genuine son, I want you to come home and I miss you so badly. That was not. So I don't, so unless by chance, and this is just giving it the benefit of the doubt, unless by chance that the nerves of being on TV, and here she has to be on TV and she knows the surroundings are all around her, and it's like, but no, I can't give it to her. I'm sorry.
But then this was planned. I mean, this was announced. I saw it an hour before it aired, before it went on, before it happened live. So I mean, this was something that they planned, and they arranged with her, and they brought her to the station to do. I mean, like, so it wasn't like oh, here she is, then she's going to speak to us. I mean, this was something that was planned. And again, I'm like, what in the world was more important than the dad being there? One, to be there for his wife, to support her, standing there talking, and then two, to be there to to tell your son, I miss you and I want you to come home, and whatever happened, I'm sorry and we love you and we want you to come home.
Yeah. Just now this is the map, isn't it, Adam, of where they've checked to the plane?
So, yeah, this was an ISP plane flight path today, which I mean, to me it kind of looks like they were just really Alexa might know the name of like the formation when they kind of do that like a grid pattern almost.
Yeah.
You don't see like the squiggles like you do over some things, but I mean they're definitely being very centered onto that one spot, at least in this, because I mean they flew directly to this one area and they're just going back and forth. So.
Ivy Rose is still caught on about the white lie day thing that you said.
I've heard conflicting things. I've heard that the middle school did not participate in it. The high school did. I've heard someone say that the middle school did participate in that as a day in Spirit Week. I have a screenshot of a teacher at the school saying they did not participate in it, so I don't know. Yeah. Either way, I find it. I find that part of it odd. I mean, the shaving the head thing. I know that the police officer said that as well, but we showed last night that picture from Tuesday where his head was shaved. So I mean, that clearly was not done on Thursday.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Thomas Frost. I noticed that he was in one of the write-ups of the paper where it said that he had offered his services to help out. So I'm going to give that shout out to Thomas Frost. If anyone doesn't know who Thomas Frost is, he's someone that uses his drones and covers Delphi and the floor and different ones. And there's a few of them out there that do it. But what's the other one's name? Something Archives. But either way, so Thomas Frost, thank you for going to offer your services over to help with Scottie there. So I just said I happened to know the name. I was like, I know that name. And then I kind of read it for a second and I was like, oh yeah, that's Thomas Frost. So he has a channel and it's called Thomas Frost. Does great. They do great drone footage and stuff like that. But anyways, so can I just ask this, you guys? One or two, alive or unalive? Two unalive, one alive. I want to see where people's mindsets are with this one. Alexa? Oh, she's on mute. She's... Alexa.
Oh, she's on mute.
Alexa. You guys, okay, so yeah. So one was for alive, two was for unalive.
You said one was alive. You said one was alive, two is...
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm starting to get the feeling of two. What about you, Adam? If you were just to go with your gut.
Or say one. My gut's telling me two, but I'm going to say one.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine's been doing. So I would have said one, mostly, but now I'm starting to feel like it's a two.
I want it to be 1 so bad, but my gut's telling me 2. But I'm still gonna hope that it's 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Alexa, there you go. What do you think, Alexa? Alexa? Poor thing. She really needs to get a new
Can you hear me?
yeah.
And I know I need router.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Is your thing acting up,
Like
Alexa?
Yeah, I can't see you guys. I couldn't see your pictures. I can just see, you know, like it was lagging. It was
Yeah.
loading, and I can hear a muffle. So
Yeah,
I did hear. One was for what? For
1 was for alive and 2 is for unalive. Most people are thinking.
And 2 was unalive.
Yeah. What are you starting to think after? I know it's only been a few days, but it's just like, you know, just what's your gut feeling? What's your gut going? If you're just to go by your gut.
I mean, I don't know much about the case, but
What did you say? Alexa? Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is the router. Maybe you need a new router.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. We're talking about a case going on right now with a little boy that's 14 years old named Scotty Morris, and he's a child that's gone missing out of Eaton, Indiana, and he left on the 16th at 8:30 approximately, and it's just a matter. Right now, the question was posed: do you think he's alive or unalive? So 1 for alive, 2 for unalive. And most people are feeling like it's a 2. Doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that's where most people's mindsets are starting to think about. Yeah. Scotty is my dad's neighbor. Okay. Cindy, can I ask you something then? You know, actually, Adam, you said that there's been conflicting things, you know, with regards
Regarding
to
what?
with regards to what's being put out there. So first of all, these are his natural parents, correct, Cindy?
Yes.
Right. That's as far as we know. Now,
and I confirmed it with one of the aunts.
And you know, I mean, obviously, this is a very sad situation going on. Okay. And it's a very sad situation going on because, again, children are, you know, regardless, they're precious. And you just want Scotty to be brought home safely, regardless of anything else. So I had heard a couple of things that I think there was a post by the twin sister, apparently, that said that he was a problematic. And then in a newspaper article I read today, it said that the teachers had said that he was a really good student, well-mannered or whatever. Was he a problematic? And that has nothing to do with it, but well, in a sense, but like meaning, you know, was he a problematic child? That was kind of like, you know, hard to control, or was he well-mannered, like, you know, and a really good child? And not that it makes a difference. At the end of the day, it's just about bringing Scotty back home and hopefully that nothing's happened to him.
Everyone, I know that every single person I've seen outside of the home or family have spoken like Scotty was a likable, smart kid that had maybe not the best home life. And everyone I've seen in the family or the home that have said something have made it sound like Scotty was the problem. And I find that to be interesting.
Yeah. like we just finished watching that interview with the mother, and to me that was one of the most, for me personally, that was one of the most insincere reach outs that I've ever personally seen. And I mean, I am judgmental because I am a people person and very intuitive, so I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think watching that interview, it just seemed like it was an act, to be honest with you. It came off that way, let me put it that way. It came off as very disingenuous.
Right.
And I hope I'm wrong about that.
I'd be curious to know if Cindy's in that area, kind of what the, I'm sorry?
No, as Cindy said, my understanding is that he was a good kid and neighbors didn't have an issue with
that.
Okay.
And that lines up with everyone that's not in that family and not in that house have all said that exact same thing almost. I'd be interested to know, like, if what's the overall kind of like temperature in Eden, because Eden's a small town, and if your dad lives that close to him, like, I mean, is there a general sentiment that's kind of going on in the area? Any theories or thoughts, like, where do people think that Scottie is? Like, is he ran away and he's with someone, or are people less optimistic? So
yeah, and there, you guys, there, of course, forever, who doesn't know the case, this is Scottie Dean Morris, this is the child. A lot of people are very upset about that picture that was put out with the one to the right, where it says, "I'm a liar, I hurt my little brother," stuff like that. That in itself is set off the internet for sure. That's just a given. At the end of the day, it just becomes about where's Scottie.
Right. I mean, they say they've searched every house. They say they've searched the school. That they searched the trailer park. They've I mean, I think they've searched the whole
house. Yeah. Cindy, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, the feeling of this is the feeling that he is run off and he's gone outside and okay. Oh, did you just say that?
That's what I just asked Cindy. Yeah.
Oh, I was sorry. I was in deep thought myself over here. Well, I was sitting there literally just thinking about Scottie for a second, going, like, this is very sad. Yeah.
And Cindy answered. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, Alexa. So locals I have spoken to think that the mom knows where he's at. Well, I'll tell you again. Go ahead, Adam.
I just find it interesting. Everyone, every single one person, every person, no one mentions the dad, and he's there. Like, he lived, like, they're married. Like, so I just find it interesting that the dad is like nothing to do with any of it. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you know if that's true or not, Cindy, by chance? Do you know if people are?
Yeah. Because I mean, they're together. They live in the house together. They're married. Right? I just find it interesting that no one's talked about the dad, like, at all, hardly. So I'm like, that struck me so much today. But I'm like, where's this man? Why isn't he there? Sorry.
All it's not too, Adam, this one's hard because after watching that mother's, reach out to her son, that was one of, to me, the most pathetic reach outs that I've ever saw someone do. Meaning it was like an act. And only towards the end, it was almost like if she would have come off like she did at the end, then that would have came off as like sincere and genuine. But that interview truly did not come off that way. And anyone on the internet that sees that is going to say the same thing, because that didn't come off as any way, shape, or form like a mother that's really wanting her kid to come back home would act or talk like.
Yeah. Cindy, I was told the same thing. I was told that he went to work on Friday and he went to work today. And then someone else told me he stayed home with the kids today, but he still didn't go to plea. And that entire message was that Felicia gave. Felicia gave that entire message directed to Scottie. And so, I mean, don't you think if Scottie were watching that, it would have meant even more if his dad had been standing next to her? I don't know.
Of course it would have.
Because, I mean, if there was an issue in the family or he's depressed or whatever, if he left on his own volition, I mean, not having your dad stand there and want you back seems like, you know, kind of a reason to like stay depressed. Sorry.
Do you know in the Barry Morphew case? Okay, so Barry Morphew, Suzanne, the wife, went missing on Mother's Day of 2020. Do you know that too? He went to work like within a couple of days, like literally. So she goes missing. He goes to work to finish a paving job. And that's why so many people thought that. Right. And I still feel like he's buried underneath that cement somewhere.
He probably went to finish the one he said he was doing the day she went missing.
Yeah, you know. But in saying that, you know, there's certain things that kind of people do, you know, that are normal. And then when they go off of the normal trail, then it brings suspicion to them. And I could never go to work. If this is true, I could never go to work. Are you kidding me? But again, maybe we don't know exactly what the childhood was like. And we don't want to speculate too much on this because obviously the bottom line is this child that's right in front of you here, that we need to know where Scottie is. Absolutely. Is Scottie alive?
One priority.
Yeah. Is he alive? You know, is he not alive? You know, are they going to start checking the waters, or have they started checking the waters?
They have.
Yeah. Well, all they need is Adventures with Purpose on that one.
Look, okay. If you think back to Scott Peterson, you remember when Lacey Peterson was missing? Scott Peterson, he wanted nothing. I mean, that family came out strong looking for her right away. And Scott Peterson he wanted nothing to do with anything in the public. He wouldn't go to any of the candlelight vigils. He wouldn't speak at any of the press conferences. He would, you know, even when people would try to take his picture, he would shy away. And it's because he was hiding something.
Guilty knowledge.
You know, I'm like, I don't know.
I know. And the thing is like I said, I know we're kind of touching the surface of it because we don't know. And you don't want to sit there and go bash on the parents. But the interview, I'll give that a 1 out of 10, if that, to be honest with you. That's how it came across. It came like across. You literally see it's like, okay, so just Scottie. No, sorry. There was nothing to me sincere about that whatsoever. Let me tell you this: if I saw my mom saying that and talking like that, I'd be like, I ain't coming home. But I'm just hoping. We don't know this child's life or anything like that, or his home and stuff like that. But I'm just, Cindy, I'm just going to straight up ask you. Do you know if most people are thinking that he's alive and just somewhere, or do some people, or, you know what, let me just ask you simply. Do you believe that Scottie is alive or unalive?
Right. Well, while we're waiting for that answer, you know, I thought one thing I thought was interesting with the police chief that was talking tonight, when he kept saying multiple agencies are involved in this now, and then he talked about the polygraphs. Never really kind of said. He said we're looking elsewhere, but he didn't really clarify any of that. And then, I mean, bottom line is Scottie's still missing. So I mean, tomorrow is going to be the 6th day of him missing. And rather than them resume searching for Scottie in the morning, they're going to have a multi-agency meeting in the morning to decide how to proceed. I found that really interesting because, one, it makes me think, yeah, I get that they could be at a crossroads and not know where to go with the search, but wouldn't you continue searching unless something's come about in the investigation that you want to then consult with other agencies about how to best move forward given the information they have now? I'm thinking that's speculative on my part.
Yeah.
But I found that I was like, you know what? They didn't search yesterday because they did infrared helicopter searches. So they didn't have ground searches out yesterday. And now they're not going to have them tomorrow morning again. So I'm like, I felt like that had to seem like there was a purpose to it. And now one of the Facebook groups is on hold for 7 hours.
One of the what?
One of the Facebook groups for him, one of the missing Facebook groups for him.
Okay. So Cindy's kind of like where we are. Like maybe 2 days ago when I first heard, I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, you know, one of his friends is going to, you know, show him where he is, or someone's going to see him and, hey, this is, you know, but it's kind of like the same thing. You know, the glass is half full. But there's that piece of me now going, you know, I don't want to think the second way, because it will tear me apart inside as a person. That just, you know, regardless, look at that child's face. You know, it's hard. It's hard to look at that child's face on the right-hand side in that shirt. The kid right there, of course, is sad. He's hurting. He's been crying. I don't know. There's a knapsack that's right beside him to the left-hand side that you guys can barely make out there, but that's a knapsack there. And, you know, the thing is, I mean, I've known 12-year-olds, you know, to take their own life and stuff like that, right? Because at those critical ages and stuff like that, I can't even fathom that children are doing stuff like that at this age. You know, that's how far that it's come, that they feel like that they don't want to remove themselves from the earth because of, you know, whatever they're going through and struggling with inside and stuff like that. And it just saddens me so hard. Saddens me so bad that you sit here and you look at this beautiful child's face, you know, and they're just children. They're just children that want to be loved, cared about. And yes, not every child is perfect and they give you struggles and all that stuff, you know, but it would sadden me so much if something had happened to him. And I'm hoping for number one, like you said, but there's that piece of me that's thinking that, you know, maybe this might not be such a good outcome. And I pray that that's totally off. You know, I always, when it's stuff like that, I always pray that my intuition and stuff like that is totally off. It's like, it's a small town. They've been doing all this searching. They said that they've searched it like 4 times over, probably like 5 times by now. But what I was going to say to you, Adam, let's see, one of the locals told me, let me see what Cindy's saying here. One of the locals told me a rumor about a phone ping and a call for a ride. After I find out more if true, I will let you know.
Thank you. Yeah.
I
was told that Scottie had a cell phone, but that it was taken away from him. It was taken not on that night, but it had been taken away from him as a punishment for something else. Because I questioned, you know, when I was told he didn't have a phone at first, I was like, wait, but the sisters are on TikTok? Because, you know, typically that's on a phone. So I was told that, you know, he did have a phone or access to a cell phone, but that it had been taken away for punishment. And so he did not leave the house with a cell phone, is what the parents apparently told law enforcement.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that this case, right? Usually what happens in true crime is what this. When a case first comes out and somebody goes missing, sometimes people will grab onto that case right away. And other times it takes a little bit of momentum to get it going. And that's what's kind of happening in this case. It's like, you know, there wasn't much out there the other day. People are starting to pick up momentum and putting, you know, and sharing and whatever. And the more
it's in People magazine today, and Nancy Grace did a thing about it.
Good, yeah, and that's just it. Because like when I tweet too, I tweet to Jennifer Coffindaffer, which is ex-FBI agent. Mm-hmm. I tweet to Nancy Grace. I tweet to Paula Mooney from Plunder. You know, I try tweeting to always these people so that
Iqbal did it too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because it's a very important that when something like this happens, because this is the work, you guys, of what you want to call God's work. This is God's work in a sense that we do. We're here to try to help people. And again, if it was your child, you always have to think of it like that. What would you want done? It's just as simple as hitting a share button to your social media. takes a couple minutes of your time to bring him awareness, and then it can spread like a fire, like, before. And then hopefully if Scottie is around, that someone will recognize him, even if he happened to go is in Indiana, or maybe he's in a different state. Maybe he did catch a ride with somebody. Maybe he was talking with a friend, and friends, who knows what's going on. I pray that nothing's happened to Scottie. I pray that it's just one of those things where he is a runaway, and he's just, going through some bad times at home and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the job of why we're into crime. At least I am, and Adam, and a lot of you guys, right? Just bring awareness. You guys wouldn't be here if something didn't impact you to come over to true crime and to help and to talk about cases. And it's because there's something about you in your life that either you have a big caring heart and something has impacted you. Maybe something happened to a relative, a friend, or something, right? So we have to always pay it forward and give it back. And share, when somebody goes missing, especially when it comes to, well, anyone, but children are, the core of my heart when it comes to the innocence of children,
Right.
It's because adults know better, in a lot more ways. Not to say that Scottie doesn't, but I just mean in general. Okay, as an adult, you're an adult and you know better. But like, look what happened to Abby and Libby, right? They would have never have thought that their lives, of course, were ended. They wouldn't even have entertained the thought that someone was there, ready to, unalive them. My husband was like, "What's the word unalive mean?" And I'm like, "Well, we say that instead of M word because YouTube likes it better." But anyways,
Right.
So we say unalive for anyone that doesn't know, or homicide, whichever. But so. Like I said, they would have never predicted, and that's just it, right? And you don't know, some of these people, right? Like, they disappear. Remember, like I said, Braden, the one child that we brought back home, he was off in a whole different state, and it was one of those things, like, for months, you didn't know if he was alive, you didn't know if he was, dead, and all of a sudden, he was found safe. So I hope that Scottie is found soon. But again, the more that it goes around the internet, the more people will have a chance of going, "Oh, I've seen that kid,"
Right.
What did you send me there, Adam?
Oh, it's just an article that Shelly has sent me from Yahoo that came out tonight, and yeah, it basically it basically says that the police chief has said, "Today we're coming to the end of our searches. We've searched the entire town at least 4 times. We've done all the outskirts. We've searched both the north and south sides of the river. We've had horses." I'm going to paraphrase it. We pretty much exhausted everything we can looking in this area. We are now hoping for someone to call and give us a tip, and we'll move on that. We've checked houses. People have been very cooperative. So yeah, it basically says they're coming to the end of their searches. But that also could, simply mean like what the officer said in that live that he did tonight about that they're having a multi-agency meeting tomorrow about how to proceed.
Well, that's I personally take that as myself. I'm personally myself at this point taking it as simple as this: they're going to regroup. Because if they've checked the area and they feel like they've done a thorough job of checking and they can't find them, I think now they're going to come together to kind of see what the next steps are to do.
Right.
That's how
are they going to go over like maybe some of the like polygraph, some of the things they've like learned since they started the investigation with other agencies, get their input, and then decide what to do?
Right. I mean, the thing is that we heard that they had polygraphs. We don't know if they passed or not.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm not implying anyone did it. I'm just saying,
No, but
it makes it. I would assume that they probably have something, some information they didn't have at the beginning, that's going to lead them in some direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Yeah. Anyways, let's.
Oh, and someone asked earlier. someone asked earlier. Both Scotty's parents worked for the school system, and he has three. He has three siblings. I thought he only had two, but he has three siblings, and one is a twin of his.
Right. So we got an older sister, right? A twin, and then there's a little brother.
Yeah, and Alexa, I'm not sure. I'm not going to speculate or anything that, but I think it has been released that one of the reasons they said Scotty might need medical attention is because he did take medication. They didn't say what for, but they did say he takes medication.
I don't really think though a 14-year-old is thinking about that he has shorts on when he's running away or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like they think that they're smart, but who knows? That knapsack could have came with them, and maybe that knapsack had some things in it. You know,
I still think that was his backpack from school. I think because he came home from the track thing at 5:40, they said.
Okay.
And I think he threw that backpack upstairs.
Okay, but answer me this. So the kid's sitting on the stair, Scotty's sitting on the stairs right there.
Yeah.
And then what? The mom or dad the mom probably whips out the camera and goes, "Here, let me take a picture of you being upset and sad." Like,
probably.
Like, let me. Like,
I believe that he was either told to sit there and take the picture as part of the punishment, or I think that he probably was sad and upset, sat down on the stairs out of frustration or whatever kids do, and his parents, out of it to be like, haha, almost make fun of him, took a picture of him.
Yeah, right. It would be a ha-ha thing.
Like, oh, look how you're pouting.
You know? Like, I mean, that's what gets me is when I see this picture. So you literally took a picture of your kid being upset, crying with this shirt on. So that tells me that there's something not right there. Yeah. That you're literally taking a picture of your kid in this thing. Like, what? Like,
there's a problem right there.
There's a problem right there. I can't even think that I would sit there and go, here, like, here, let me just take a picture of you. See how you're looking? See how you're looking upset like that? That's just, to me, is adding to more ridicule or something. Yeah. So that's why that picture bugs me too.
Who does the 400 block of Indiana Avenue? Yeah. I don't want to say their their home address, but
yeah. Yesterday we did a Google Maps there, and
oh my goodness, 2.5 hours.
I know, right?
Sorry, I just saw the time.
Yeah, so you guys, because my husband's gonna need to go to bed soon too. So let's go on to Stephen Smith here.
Stephen Smith, yeah, and I'm sure that I'm sure we'll be talking more about Scotty this week.
Absolutely. I put out a video.
I'm going to do a live on my channel one night this week, and then we have a live on Friday. Who knows if we'll have another live before then, but I guarantee we'll talk about Scotty again before then. Before Friday even.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things. Once I grab onto something, and I know a lot of people didn't right at the start of this, and that's why I wanted to make sure that this channel, Adam's the one that brought it to the attention of this channel, and that's why it was kind of like, once you talk about it, then I was like, you know what, no, let's, like, this is a case that we're gonna keep up with for this boy, because again,
as soon as I heard about it Friday, it just struck me for some reason. There was something about it that I was like,
yeah. I mean, because it's hard, because we can't save the world, but we can do our part. But it was one of those things, like I said. So when I woke up this morning, I was like, I'm going to put out a video about Scotty again. We need to bring awareness. This boy needs to be found, be brought home, and you're just kind of hoping that oops. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cindy. Again. Yeah. There wasn't much out there. There was only a few. And like I said, so it's nice to see that some other YouTubers are grabbing onto it as well. And like I said, I shared it to the Twitter, to the Facebook, to the It's a Crime and Shame thing as well, to our private Facebook group and stuff like that. Because the whole point is you just want everyone just to keep retweeting and stuff like that, and sharing, and to bring this boy home safely is our prayers are for this child, that he is fine, that Scotty will be brought home safely. So we'll just keep our prayers on that and keep following what's going on. And again, hopefully with a happy ending to it, because there's too many sad endings in a lot of these, or in a lot of cases and stuff that we follow. There's a lot of children that go missing, but a good lot of people that go missing usually are brought back, meaning that the numbers are quite high for how many go missing versus, know how someone just run away and, then they're found again. So I'm hoping that's just simply the case here, that Scottie was mad at his family and for whatever reason.
I just hope he's warm and safe somewhere. I mean, I really just hope that he's safe and, like I said, and hopefully warm somewhere. Ivy Rose, no, I believe his sister's names start with a K and an M. I don't think there's a J. I don't think the sister's names start with a J. Unless I'm mistaken, but
yeah. Okay. So again, you guys, if you haven't shared, again, please share this video. Please share this live. Again, I put up, I put up a video yesterday with his thing on it. I was trying to think of the actual. There's the poster. I don't know that we actually had the actual poster.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's on. I mean, it's online.
On there. I'm just trying to remember now, because there's so many pamphlets going through my head. Because right here, let me just quickly show this again.
Well, anymore, there's always so many different missing posters when
Yeah, like
if you want that's the one that have out.
Right. So okay, you guys.
I believe that's one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's the one that they're doing. Okay. So again, if you have not shared it or don't know about this case, please, if you guys could share it to all your social media that you can and bring Scottie home safely. Again, think of it as if it was your own child and what you would do. That's what we're asking of you guys to do. Thank you so much. I know you guys are all loving and caring.
But I'll send it to you, Sonny. But
okay. Right. Okay, that one. Yeah. Okay.
It's a little busier.
Let me quickly play the Murdaugh one. I'm just gonna pull this up.
Yes, I've not read this. I read the statement, but I haven't. I read the statement, but I haven't heard it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna go here. Let me just go to where it actually starts. We exhumed this video and. Well, hold on. I'll just say crime and shame. So, Buster Murdaugh decides to speak out about the Stephen Smith case, of course, saying that he had no involvement whatsoever. Now, of course, Stephen Smith's mom wants the body to be exhumed, and, so I'm just going to let you listen to the clip here. You guys leave your comments in the comment section of this video, and, put what you guys think. Simple as that. Anyways, you guys take care. Have a great day.
8 years, Sandy Smith has been pushing for answers in the death of her son, Stephen. The 19-year-old with years, Sandy Smith has been pushing for answers in the death of her son, Stephen. The 19-year-old was found dead in 2015 in what state investigators originally called a hit and run on a rural road in Hampton County, South Carolina.
As a mother, there's questions that I need to ask, and there's questions I need answers to.
Smith believes the initial findings may have been wrong and that someone murdered her son and staged it to look like an accident. It's a case that's never been solved, but as authorities looked into the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, they say information came to light, prompting them to reopen Smith's investigation. Smith's death has also received renewed attention from a recent Netflix docuseries about the Murdaugh murders and other cases with potential ties to the once prominent family. In multiple interviews, locals discussed rumors of an alleged relationship between Stephen and Buster Murdaugh.
There were so many rumors swirling around that Buster and Stephen were intimate together. Being gay in the Murdaugh family would have been looked down upon.
But Buster Murdaugh has never been charged with any crime in the case. And for the first time this morning, he's denying any involvement, telling NBC News exclusively in a statement, I've tried my best to ignore the vicious rumors about my involvement in Stephen Smith's tragic death that continue to be published in the media as I grieve over the brutal murders of my mother and brother. I love them so much and miss them terribly. Buster Murdaugh, who took the stand in his father's trial, adding, "These baseless rumors of my involvement with Stephen and his death are false. I unequivocally deny any involvement in his death, and my heart goes out to the Smith family." Sandy Smith says she doesn't know who's responsible for her son's death.
But I want to know why you did it, and I want to find out who you are.
Now, thanks to thousands of dollars in online donations, she wants Stephen's body exhumed and an independent autopsy performed.
When it comes to an exhumation, there are several pitfalls that you have to look out for, namely preparation of the remains.
Despite the potential hurdles, Sandy Smith says she remains hopeful.
Peace, not closure. It'll never be closed because he's forever gone.
I mean, Katie, what are the next steps if they do move forward with a potential independent autopsy?
Well, Craig, before any autopsy can be completed, a judge actually has to grant permission for the exhumation to take place. Now, Sandy Smith's attorneys say they plan to petition a judge and make a case for that, even have a show cause hearing to show why this is necessary now. If the judge does grant that, they will exhume the body and say have an independent autopsy done within several weeks. But it all depends on that judge's decision, and that is still weeks away from now.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting to hear from Buster Murdaugh there. Katie Beckforth there in Columbia. Katie, thank you.
Please give this video a like and a share. And thanks again. And if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing.
I think I will consider subscribing. I think I will. You're muted.
I was muted.
Do you know what I just realized? After 3 hours of being on, your title still says "A Flying Shame."
Just noticed that too, and I still wouldn't have noticed it.
Sorry.
You fixed that, huh? That's because we were doing. Okay, so we went on a flying shame cruise the other day on the.
So we did that. Right? So we did a live earlier today, and we didn't notice it. And you put up 2 videos.
No, I didn't use StreamYard when I put out those videos.
Oh, yeah. But we did earlier when we did the live. Oh, FP, I'm sure that was a great shout out.
Edit name. Oh, yeah, let me just try that again. Okay.
Probably was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Adam, it's been like this the whole time, actually. As a matter
Yeah, it has.
Call us silly, call it crazy. Some people do. But yeah, so we went on a world tour the other day on the members, and that's when we kind of go on a flight path, and I'm your captain, and this is the co-pilot Adam over here, and we take you guys on some tours around the world wherever you'd like to go. Fly Aspen Airlines and Ventures. Yeah.
FP, I'm sure that you can decipher what you probably heard there, and considering, I'm sure you're good.
Oh, hey, you guys got a shout out on Rocket's interview with that inmate dude. You mean Kegan Kline's inmate dude? That's just so sweet. You mean Noah, the one that's called? Remember when he called in and he was David? Let's see here, the one that plays his guitar on the Monan High Trail Bridge, the one that is also named a bird, the one that watches this channel as well. Let's see, the one that's trying to bring himself into the Delphi case, the one that I don't give the time of day to, so he keeps trying to trash me. Sorry, dude. I don't have time to play those type of games. Again, he had the opportunity. I said, to talk to me. I just don't, I'm not going to sit here and go, woo, I should be lucky enough to talk to you, DeBird. Thank you so much. Stuff like that. I think it was, that was the guy with the photographs that he drew. He was with Kegan, but the one that was Peach was the one of a certain person. It wasn't Kegan's that was Peach. It was the other one that looked like one eyeball was bigger than the other. Anyway,
yeah. But hey, I always thought I like a good shout out, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Bird. The Bird. And 69 people watching.
Oh yeah, your perfect number. Wait. So what did you think about Stephen Smith? What do you think about what Buster said?
Thank you. Oh, okay. As for Buster, okay, you know what? Okay, I honestly don't know what to think about the Stephen Smith case because I'm so have no real knowledge of this case. Besides, I know of it and I know the generics of the case.
Right.
But
I think you probably know about as much as everyone else. Because I mean, like, if you watched like that 27-minute video that I sent you back a month or so ago, I mean, you know pretty much the details that everyone else knows.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been much.
Right. You know, do I honestly feel that Buster Murdaugh is involved in it? My gut says no. My gut just says no instantly. Right. And it did before as well. And I think something happened. And I don't know what, like
that would not get hit by a car. I know that.
Like the death.
I don't know who is it.
You know, okay, so you answer me first. Or you answer it first. Do you think he's involved?
I don't know. I mean, I know that, you know, the Murdaugh boys' names were given 24 times, I believe that was the amount of times that was told. Granted, it's a small town, so if one person hears a story, it's going to go through the whole town pretty quickly. Do I have any reason to know that Buster would be involved other than the fact that people in town have said their names? No. But I 100% don't believe that Stephen Smith was hit by a car. Nothing about that scene. And even one law enforcement agency, came out immediately and said, this was not a hit and run. There's nothing about this fits what a hit and run would be. Everything about the way he was found looks like he was hit with a blunt force object, probably from a moving vehicle.
Right.
I do know that Buster played in a softball game that night and was coming home in that area with friends from a softball game, and they would have had softball bats with them. But I don't know. And then the timing of them reopen. So I was kind of on the fence as far as like, no, Buster might not have had anything to do with it. But then 24 people said their names. And then 11 days after Paul and Maggie were unalived, they reopened Stephen's case out of the blue.
Right.
That is the thing, and to me, I'm like, what piece of information did they uncover during the investigation for Paul and Maggie that led them to open up the case again? So I don't know. Did it involve maybe some of Buster's friends? Did it involve Buster? I don't know. Did it involve Paul? I don't know.
Or was it just because this was at 4 a.m., right? It was at 4 a.m. He was walking down the road from his car, had a cell phone, right? He had a cell phone, so with a
battery, with a full charge, and his car had gas in it, and he was walking in the opposite direction of a gas station. So this kid meant foul play somehow.
Foul play, right? I was gonna say there's foul play somewhere. If I was deeper into the case and had more of a feel for the connection between the Murdaughs and this case, I just don't feel like I'm at any point to even say Buster yes or no in a sense, or do I feel right now I'm thinking no.
Again, again, it's the timing part of it. Part of it is the timing that like we talked about with Kegan and everything is, it's just very random that this case sat closed basically for all those years, and then all of a sudden, 11 days after Paul and Maggie died, they reopened this case, and then they reopen it. I think they even said it was in regards to Paul and Maggie's crime. And then 2 years went by, and they haven't said a word about it since. And the only reason that it's getting publicity now is because of the documentaries that have come out trial.
Right.
And so Stephen Smith's mother's out there saying she wants him exhumed, and I'm sure she'll and she'll get it. Thank God.
Well, I mean, because of that, now look at that GoFundMe, $65K basically. I think.
Right.
Let me put it this way. For any person, I feel like, again, that they just simply deserve justice. His definitely sounds like it meant foul play. And, I would want the same thing done if that happened at the Murdaugh case. Because look what happened to Gloria Satterfield. Like, do you know what I mean? So what? So death just following them wherever they go with the Murdaughs.
Right. And Stephen's dad passed away believing that that Buster was responsible for Stephen's unaliving.
Right.
And if Buster's innocent and didn't have anything to do with it, then he should have no problem with them opening this investigation back up and looking into everything. Because if he had no involvement, he has nothing to hide.
Yeah. My thing is that what I like is this. I like it when people come forward, because usually people that have nothing to hide have no problem speaking. And it's the people that usually have something to hide, aka Barry Morphews of the world, that tend to not be wanting to do the interviews, that are like you can just feel like they're hiding from it. And so to me, it always says a lot when usually someone comes forward, in a sense themselves, and goes, hey, look, I've got kind of like the Peterson guy, right? Shied away from everything, didn't help participate in the search, different things like that. Those are just kind of tell signs of guilt right there.
And then you have like a Chris Watts that thinks they can rely on their own charm to get them through stuff like that. When clearly they underestimate they overestimate their own ability to pull the wool over people's eyes.
Chris Watts, I mean, how arrogant is sit there and stand there, and be like, yeah, I know. Oh, as he's watching that tape, I know. Right. What always I remember when it comes to Chris Watts was him standing on his outside porch, as the cop says something, talking to him, and he's like, I just wanted to come back so bad, and then it's almost like
put the house up for sale this morning.
This freaking ridiculous smirk comes over his face, and I'm like, dude, you obviously did not practice your performance. You might have thought, like you could do this and you could unalive and all that stuff and do all this, but you obviously didn't practice up on your performing, because there's a difference between when you're literally talking to a police officer and then, like I said, and he just came off so smugly arrogant as he's sitting there acting like he cared about his wife. It was the most ridiculous thing to watch. And
he'd unenrolled the girls in school.
Yeah. I know, it's like some of these people do the darndest things, like Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew would not talk about Suzanne. You never heard him bring up her name, hardly ever. The only time Barry Morphew, the narcissist that he was, would come out and speak is only to defend himself. Okay?
Of course.
Whenever he was being attacked, every now and again he'd pipe up. But you never heard him talking about his wife, Suzanne. Oh, I love you, Suzanne. I miss you, Suzanne. And it's the guilty knowledge that prevents people from saying certain things.
Like a Brian Walsh.
Yeah, like a Brian Walsh and stuff like that. So
I expect his name to pop back up in the next couple of weeks, because I would think he's gonna probably, like, oh, I need some attention.
Yeah. Are any of you guys in here really, besides learning on the channel, but are any of you guys in here actually following the Stephen Smith case a bit to do with Buster Murdaugh? It really would depend on if you were following the Murdaugh case.
Right. Yeah. And Stephen Smith's case is interesting in of itself, just because to me, I told you, Sonny, like, it reminds me a lot of the Ray Hanisch case. It was something that, is considered one thing. And I'm not saying that they considered it because of his sexuality, but I'm saying they considered it hit and run, and they closed the book. Like with Ray Hanisch, they considered it,
right.
An essay, an essay gone wrong, and they closed the book.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we had just the night when the night before Garrett Kurtz got indicted for Ray's unaliving, we had just randomly talked about Ray, and we hadn't talked about him in a while. But we were talking about Stephen Smith and how there were similarities.
Yeah, like, I mean, sorry, I keep yawning.
No, that's okay. I don't think there's going to be a ton of Stephen Smith updates until they've exhumed him. I mean, I don't think there'll be another big update with his case though until they do that.
I know. People are going to ride it though. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's almost like watching a cow get milked. You know, how much can we ride? It's almost like someone draining a case till you can't drain it no more, in a sense.
Well,
That's how I always feel about things a lot, is that, you know, people will just ride it. They'll soak it out for all it's worth, you know, and then it's just like, okay, that one's over now.
Well,
you know,
I spent 6 weeks watching that trial every day, and there have been a few times where I'm like, well, I kind of miss being in South Carolina and like the Low Country and hearing people talk like Paul every day and your Bubba.
I know, Bubba. Yeah, you come here, Bubba. Bubba got a chicken.
You come here to Moselle and.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, and I don't mean this to be rudeness, but when someone has an accent like what you just did there, I can't help but mimic it back. And it's not because I'm making fun of it. It's just kind of like, it's almost like me practicing. So if, like, when my ex-husband's brother would call, he'd always be like, "Yeah, Sonny, is Steven there?" Now, my ex-husband, you would like, his voice did not sound like his brother's. So I'd be like, "Rodney? Well, yes, he is. Let me just give me a, you know." And so even when I called down to like Atlanta one time, where my ex-husband was down there at some sort of Atlanta Speedway or something, and the lady would answer, and she'd be yeah, it was just like it was almost like Aunt Jemima talking to me. It was like the most warmest thing. She'd be like, I can't even remember what she said to me anymore, but it was just so cute. And I would just like to call just to hear her voice on the other end of the line, you know. But I never deemed it as rude. But some people might deem it as rude when you mimic them. But I don't. It's not intentionally done to like hurt anybody. It's just
I accidentally do it sometimes when I talk to British people. Like, you know,
like especially the Aussies for me, because my husband is British. It's like when we were driving back home today, and I had one of those moments where my husband's talking, and I'm just like, "Oh, I just love your cute British accent," you know. But usually when it's the Australian is my favorite accent. I'm telling my husband that. So, but anyways, so when I hear an Aussie speak, I can say it better. But when I'm trying to do it just without someone around me, not so good, you know. And then my yeah. And I remember one time I was working at Markworth Warehouse, and this lady puts on this Crocodile Dundee hat, and then she's like something like, you know, like, "How you doing, mate?" But she did it so well. I was like, dang, I wish I was that good at doing it. Paw, roll. But yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, in England, there's like, for such a small land, they got a lot of accents.
Well, I would say I only live 2 hours away from Hampton, South Carolina, and you know, most people here don't talk like that. And like I said, it's only 2 hours away from here.
Yeah. Yeah. I always remember that combo number 5. Back in the day, there was that little. It's in my head, the song, but there was this little
Mambo
baby.
number 5.
No, there was that. Remember that little baby that would dance around? It was like
the Ally McBeal thing.
No. It was way before then. It was kind of like near the beginning of the internet, and then that
was the beginning of the internet. Ally McBeal with the dancing baby.
Ally McBeal.
Remember the lawyer show with Callista Flockhart?
Yeah, but this is not off of a.
That was like 2000, maybe late 90s.
No, well, you know what? Okay, it's basically it's like a baby that looks like a 3D baby, You know, I got it in my head and I can't think of it. It's an old one. But at the same time, there was this thing that was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody, and then it was like, I want combo number 5, and so it's a Chinese person that's doing it, and I want some woodles and brass and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, it still makes me laugh to this day when I think about that. God, yeah, and that kid thing though, it was one of those things that raged through the internet and then it came back out again. Oh, I know I can't sing that song or else it'll probably turn us yellow. One of my favorite songs though is the Dear Penis song. I don't think I'll like you anymore. You used to watch me shave.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that's that.
Shelly said I need to smoke this and go to bed.
Maybe one of these days we should have members like accents. Give our best accents. Have people call in. Yeah, it's time to. You guys, okay. Yes, thank you, Udis. Ooga chaka. I can't fight. Right, ooga chaka. There was the ooga chaka baby. Right? You guys know that one.
Shelly, I didn't say that word because of YouTube's monetization policy doesn't like talk about that type of use.
Yeah, ooga chaka? Ooga
no.
chaka. Oh, which one?
This one.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
I just spent an hour today reading the rules, and I was like, oh, they don't like people to talk about that?
You know what? I just got a message from my husband. It says you need to ooga chugga. I need to ooga chugga to bed.
Well, do you think he could get one more person to come in here so when we get in with 69 instead of 68? Or is he going to owe you one?
I should make him come on. Ooga chugga, ooga chugga. You know what he did today? My husband. He's always got some sort of owie. He went to go put some tools or whatever into the van. And you know how on top of the van, Adam, there's like those two like.
Did he break a mirror off?
No, that was yesterday. No, today he banged his head.
Ooh.
On like how there's those things that come down on the van. Yeah, he's like, so he comes home and he's like, oh, my head really hurts. My husband, you have to know, like, I worry about him sometimes. Because he's always coming home and he's like, the other day he comes home and he shows me his thumb and it's like cut and he's like, but it doesn't hurt here where it's red. It hurts up here. And I'm like, well, you probably jammed it, but my husband's always like, he's so accident prone. Yeah. And so when we went to go to White Rock the other day and, my husband is always very careful about our vehicle because his vehicle, if he could marry it, he probably would. Our vehicle that we've had it since 2017. And like for us, it was like our Cadillac dream there. But anyways, it's a 2017 Ford Explorer Sport. And this thing came with all the bells and whistles to it, okay? It was kind of like the perfect storm where interest rates were down and blah, 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 blah. Right. It was like 53,000 at the time. But anyways, so this thing has heated seats, pretty much drives for you. So anyways, little baby vehicle there has gotten into a couple little things. He backed into a little pole, which kind of put some scrapes on the back of it, which you can't really see, but you can see it. And then yesterday when we were going to White Rock, all of a sudden, because downstairs in the parkade, they're very thin because cars were smaller before. Okay, people. Now you got all these SUVs. But anyways, so usually I wait for my husband to back out so that I can get in because Ryan was already in the front. So I was just waiting for him to back out because it's just easier to get in because other than that, the cars are just too close and my fat butt's not going to get in that small little spot. So anyways, so as he's backing out, all of a sudden I hear pop, crack, bing. And I'm like, okay. So I knew exactly what happened because when my husband backs out, there's this cement post, right? Because our car's beside one of the cement posts. That means that the mirror of obviously hit that thing. And now we were talking to the guy today at Ford. I was like, how much is it going to cost to, like fix this or whatever? Because I didn't know that the motor part was gone, because the vehicle goes, the mirror goes, bzzz, slides in, bzzz, it's got sensor, whatever. Anyways, $1,200, he said. So I'm like, does our car insurance cover that? Because we have comprehensive and collision. It's like, I think a $200 deductible. I think it is. And I'm like $1,200 for a side mirror, really? Like, are you kidding me? Well, yeah, that's because it's going to be the whole thing. So anyways, so I got to figure out that. Right. But I know husband, he was upset because, he's so careful when he usually drives, and he was just distracted for a minute, and he was looking to see where I was as I was out, So anyways, how when it just rains, it pours sometimes. The mirror sits. Yeah. Well, it's like I said, our car came with a whole bunch of bells and whistles to it. It came with the whole, at the time, backup thing, the heated seats and all, I don't know, all these just trinkets that came with it. And those mirrors are nice and handy because, they blink side, like the yellow things on the side. Like I said, the car pretty much will drive for you because it will stop if it's too close to a car.
Then you don't need a mirror.
It will slow down,
Well, apparently not too close to a car.
Because now the car keeps saying that because the sensors aren't working, and so it's not picking up on that. So the car keeps acting. It's coming up with these little sayings like "can't find da 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 da." So I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna have to, call ICBC, Icky Bicky, and see if it will.
Just have Lewis find you one on eBay.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. It's I know, right? No, we were looking at eBay, but I didn't realize the motor was gone. But nowadays vehicles, right? Like I said, there's like sensors and all the different motors because the mirror, everything's like bzz, bzz, bzz type of thing. And it's whatever. All I know is, just another cost didn't need really, but
yeah.
Happens. I can't change it, right? So, yeah. Anyways, what does it say? I want. It was like, wait, who this? I love this. Oh, new Bronco. I priced what I want. It was
so
like,
hot.
oh yeah. You know what? Just have a GoFundMe, of course. No problem.
No, I said I left it in my cart for now. I customized it, and then I just left it in the cart. I'll check out for it. I'll check out with it later.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get two.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys, it's been a pleasure. This is two lives in one day. You guys, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you when we see you. Right, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see you when you see her. And again,
and everyone say a prayer for Scotty.
Scotty, yeah, for Scotty Morris, that he's please brought home safely. Again, that's the most important thing over talking about the parents and stuff like that. We can talk about them after the fact, okay? No, just kidding. But anyways, you guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you when we see you.
Right.
How about that?
Hey,
right, Lacey? Where's Lacey? She's probably gone now. All right, Lacey? Lacey will be back in about 15 minutes. No, just kidding. No. Okay, thanks, Alexa. Hey, CD never did show up. CD.
Good night.
Yeah. Okay, bye, guys. Have a great night. Take care. All the best. Thank you.